Live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for being here tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on all over the internets, all over social media, everywhere, and I don't know where to start. First of all, Elon Musk versus Donald Trump. What AOC say? The girls are fighting. That was really a crazy moment. Elon Musk, very emotional outburst. AKA, have your grievance, have your issue with the bill, but all the outbursts and stuff like that, we don't have time for that. We're trying to save the world. We'll talk about that a little bit more, a little bit later. Also, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, Maryland dad, America's dad, has quote unquote come quote unquote back to the USA, only to face trial for human trafficking, for which he had an alleged 100 back and forth trips. We'll talk about that a little bit more, a little bit later. Also, Los Angeles, what's going on? Is it safe? Hey, is it safe in LA? We got ICE protests happening. We got people getting hit by cars. And the dude that got hit by the car was so funny. We'll get to that a little bit later. Also, we have Simone Biles, world famous gymnast, and Riley Gaines having a little bit of back and forth on the Twitters over men and women's sports. I guess Simone Biles doesn't know anything. I could tell she's just about as ignorant can be. Has no idea what's happening with men and women's sports. She thinks this is about the Transformers and trying to support the LGBT, but really it's about trying to interfere with women's spaces. We'll talk about all those things and a whole lot more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And thank y'all again for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. If you like what you're hearing so far, if you enjoy the content in general, please give me a thumbs up on the video. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff that'll help me out tremendously. We got a whole lot going on. Elon and Trump going at it. See, look, you know what? I want to say something about Elon right now, just straight off the rip. Now, some I know are going to try to take this moment. They might try to call me later talking about, don't you regret your decision to support Trump, supporting Elon? No, I don't. Elon was necessary to be part of the administration. Now, he wasn't destined to be here forever. That's why he had a short term, 130 days. Okay? Like, I think people that are smarter than I am understood who Elon was before he got there. They knew that Elon was not going to be a permanent fixture. They knew no one voted for him. They knew he's not a political figure. He's just very smart. Okay, we have this really smart guy who's willing to volunteer his time to help our nation. Okay, come on, let's do it. We're going to put certain restrictions on you now. It's like a weapon, you know, and some might get offended. And when I say this, I say it's like weaponized autism. And please, hey, I know somebody going to get offended in the chat. I'm not trying to be offensive, but hear me out. It's like weaponized autism. You guys ever seen X-Men? You ever seen Cyclops and he has that beam? If you don't have the glasses on, the beam is going to be uncontrollable. And whatever he's looking at, that beam from his eyes is going to destroy. That's Elon Musk. Okay, weaponized autism. When that beam becomes a little bit unstable, it's liable to hit you. It's all good when it's hitting the enemy, but then when it kind of gets off its rocker, it might hit you. And what made that beam of autism unstable was when he got kicked out of the White House, or when his term came to an end. He basically got fired from his job. But it wasn't really a firing. You were a temp. You were a temp. You had a certain period of time you were going to serve, and that's it. Maybe you wanted an extension. Maybe you wanted more than what you got. Maybe you thought you and Trump were tighter than that y'all are really bosom buddies. Okay, taking you on dates to the UFC, stuff like that. You thought it was a date. You thought it was a relationship that could stand a test of time. But nah, this is business. Hey, bro. Thank you for your service. We appreciate it, man. We appreciate Doge. We appreciate Twitter. We appreciate Tesla. We appreciate all that, all your innovation and your intellect. We appreciate that. But you can't just do whatever you want to do. Okay, you're not the king of this country. Didn't nobody even elect you. You were here for a certain period of time, and we appreciate you for your period of time here. Now, you got to go back to doing what you were doing. Elon just did not understand how to process that emotion. And this is what some women do. When it's over with, when they get cut off, they don't understand how to process things, and then they just act out. Their emotions get out of control. This is what some women do, which is why some people say that they're not voting for women to be a president, to be in that role. You cannot have any emotional outbursts. You got to be totally calm, cool, and collected under pressure, because if you have you got something going on with Iran and your finger is right there on the button. If you push that button, the whole world could change. The whole world could end at your finger on the button. Who are you going to trust right there? It's not going to be Elon Musk. Do I trust him with Twitter? Do I trust him with this advanced technology, SpaceX? Yes, absolutely, 100%. When you're able to operate things, when you're able to create things that are under your control, you do very well. But when you have the fate of others in your hand, not so much. Now you got to have a collaborative effort. Not just you, Elon, but the entire government. Also, when it comes to the bill, I know the spending bill is a lot of stuff in there. It's a lot of pork and spending, but I've been here on the YouTubes for a long time. There's always a complaint about the spending bill. It don't matter who's in office. There's always a complaint about the spending bill. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Just say, okay, I'm the king. I rule by fiat. Therefore, this is what it's going to be. That's not how it works. Listen, Trump is a president of the USA, not just of us here, not just of conservatives, not just of those who support him, but of all the USA. And our system makes him be accountable to everyone, because you have elected officials, those on the right and the left. You got to please everybody to a certain extent. You have to compromise. Unfortunately, it is what it is. That's our system. Love it or hate it. Now, if we were to just bypass that system and say, forget them, well, okay, Trump has a term limit. All they got to do is get back in power, and then it's all over with. They could do whatever they want to do with no voice from us. So yeah, I like Elon and what he does, but all of that, man, that was really crazy. I mean, that was just an emotional outburst that didn't need to happen. Okay, you disagreeing on the bill. Okay, that's fine. Just leave it at that. You want to say he's in the Epstein files and then you deleting tweets? Bro, Elon Musk, irresponsible. How many followers you got? Like 100 trillion followers, and you want to say something like that to all those followers? And of course, people are going to see the first tweet, and they're not even going to know that you deleted it. They're not even going to know that you have retracted that statement. All they're going to see is the first tweet. Again, irresponsible, not understanding how to do with human beings. You understand how to do with things that you create, but not the humans. And that is a problem. That's why we voted for Trump, because why? He's a man of the people. He understands us as humans. And that's what you got to have. That's why a lot of your Democrats don't do well when it comes to these national races, because they're like automatons. They're like robots at best. They're weird, they're strange, and they don't represent us, the people. That's why they don't do well. I mean, look at Tampon Tim. I mean, come on. Kamala, all these people, they don't understand human beings. They understand how to do their job, and that's it. But you need more than that to be at this level of governance. Does that make any sense? But yeah, and Neuralink, hey, Elon's a really smart guy, but it's a lot of smart guys out there. Let's not even get that twisted. It's a lot of smart guys out there. It's a lot of smart guys, and they're right in Washington, D.C. and in Beijing, China, or whatever it's a lot of smart guys in this world. He ain't the only one. But yeah, shout out to him, though. I appreciate it. You know what I mean? But it's time for you to go now. You know, go back to, you know what I mean? Go back to doing what you're doing. Okay. But yeah, shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all. Hold on. Do we need the Iron Dome? I don't know about the Iron Dome stuff. I mean, if it makes sense, it makes sense. But if not, then let's not. But I've not really looked into it. You know, hold on. Sometimes Friendly says Elon needs to put forward his own spending bill. How you going to do that when you're not in the government at all? I mean, I could put forward my own spending bill. Elon putting forward a spending bill is like me putting forward a spending bill. Anybody could do that. Why would he be any special or any different? Why would his bill be considered over mine or yours? That's not how it works, really. A spending bill is a collaborative effort with all of government. That's why it's so many pages and it gets so lawyery and things of this nature, because everybody got to be involved. It can't just be a one-sided or one-person thing. People think they want a one-person rule until they get a one-person rule. The one person might do everything you like for the most part, except for one thing that'll end your life. And you have no recourse because there's only one guy that's in power. Although the majority of the nation would be against that thing, what are you going to do? You got a dictator, you see? And they want to call Trump a dictator. Oh, and then they want to say Trump is bought. Oh, all you got to do, pay a bunch of money. Trump is bought. He's sold out to the corporations. Elon Musk's PAC donated $288 million to Trump's campaign in 2024, $288 million, which was a staggering amount, more than anybody else, probably on both sides from one particular PAC. Yet and still, Elon could not keep those EV mandates and subsidies and things of this nature. He couldn't keep that. You would think that if Trump could be bought, $300 million would do it, right? Nope. Nope, sure didn't. Oh, I want some gratitude. What that mean? You want gratitude? What you want to? You want something for something? You want a little quid pro quo? You can't do that. Why would he do that? That's going to be an immediate impeachment. That wouldn't make any sense. But yeah, shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all. Hold on. Streetwork says Logan only goes feet down the rabbit hole. So like his content, I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not doomer pill, black pill. I'm not that kind of person. I still got hope for this world and hope for this nation. I think we can definitely, because we face hard times, we face adversity in previous years. People don't have context. The things that we're able to do right now with technology, with advancements in science, it's just really crazy. We have a lot more power to do things than we've had in the past. But I feel like we become creatures of habit. We become very comfortable, complacent, and we forget how we've gotten here. We forget all of what we sacrificed to get here. Like the whole thing with the AI facility in Memphis that Elon has. They're talking about pollution. Well, how do you think we built this nation? What was it on green energy? Was it on wind turbines? Like, how did we build the solar power? How did we build this nation? How did we invent electricity and all this other stuff? It came from an industrious past with a lot of dirty kind of industry going on. Like I said in my video, I was in West Virginia recently. I'm in the grocery store. I'm in Walmart. White dude covered head to toe in coal dust with his uniform on, the minor uniform on, head to toe, coal dust. Some are going to say, oh, coal is dangerous, ABL. Not you guys, but some are going to tell me that coal is dangerous. We're going away from coal. We're going to really upgrade. We're really going to. How are you going to power your EV with no coal? What, fairy dust? Nah, it ain't going to be no fairy. It's going to be coal dust, not fairy dust. If the fairy dust means you got it up under a mountain in the rail car with a human being with a pickaxe, if that's fairy dust, then yeah, it's fairy dust. But if that's not fairy dust, then what are we talking about? People got to understand the reality of this world. And because we have things so easy in society, people don't really understand it. They don't have proper context. So they don't really know what it takes to make this whole world run, in my humble opinion. But anyway, shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for joining. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. James says, coal is dangerous, ABL. Hopefully you're trolling, bro. Hopefully you're trolling because, hey, you know what? If coal is dangerous, then so is electricity, because that's how your cell phone and all that kind of stuff gets charged. That's how your pretty little EV, you know, your little smart car, that's how that gets charged. That's how that big behemoth, big back Hummer, the 10,000 pound Hummer electric vehicle, that's how that thing gets charged. You got that. Them Hummer EVs are absurd. The Hummer EVs, in my opinion, are worse than the OG Hummers as far as their carbon footprint. They're worse because it's 10,000 pounds. The average car does not weigh that much. If you got a whole road full of those, you're going to add to the deterioration of the actual road. It's going to be like, what, 30% faster? If you have a whole fleet of EVs on the road, including your regular Teslas, your Hummer EV, everything in between, you're going to have like a 20 to 30% increase in the speed of road deterioration. Now you got to do more paving. Now you got to do more painting, and all that kind of stuff is polluting. Have you ever driven by a road while it's being paved? Not a very good smell, is it? You're going to have a lot more of that. Plus the tires are going to wear out quicker. The 10,000 pound Hummer EV is worse environmentally than the internal combustion engine OG Hummer from back in the day. Remember they said that was harmful and polluting because of how big it was and how much gas it goes through. You're getting like 8 miles to the gallon or whatever it is. The electric version of that is worse. But anyway, yeah, $2,000 a year in taxes. I mean, in tires, not taxes, in tires, $2,000 a year in tires. Unreal, totally unreal. Okay. Oh, and the AI, hold on, something else. Hold on. Phil R says AI will use 80% of the power made as of today. Hey, you know, that's something else. The AI, that's a whole different conversation right there. You know, and a lot of the people who talk about green energy have nothing to say about AI. They have nothing to say about it. They're worried about the green energy guys are now attacking Teslas because they think Elon's a Nazi. So you're going to attack the electric vehicles you once championed because you don't like Elon, but you're a climate activist. Meanwhile, the gas, the actual energy consumers, the energy and water, those you just totally leave alone. It's really weird. But anyway, hold on. Street Word says, can we get to the meat, the LA protests? Hey, how about this? How about this, Street Word? How about I get to it when I get to it? How about that? How about that? I'm going to read some of these comments and then I'm going to get to my sponsors, not the LA protests right now. Hold on. Stranded says, imagine a $10,000 Hummer, or a 10,000 pound, pardon me, 10,000 pound Hummer crashing into your little Ford Fiesta. Hey, you're going to be in the accordion. You're going to be in the accordion, man. You're going to be folded up. Origami. Or how about if it crashed to your house? If that Hummer goes through the front of your living room, man, you're going to be, it's going to be over with. Your whole home is going to be structurally not the same anymore. It might be a tear down, and don't let it catch on fire. Man, you better pray to Jesus that you don't get a fire in there, because you're not going to escape. It's going to be real bad. It's going to be real bad. But yeah, shout out to y'all. I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All right. Shout out to the sponsors. Y'all know who we got. Shout out to patriotpost.us, your best source of news and information anywhere on these interwebs. The link for them will always be in the description, or just go to patriotpost.us in your browser. Tell them that ABL sent you. Also, please go to the merch website, ablmerch.com. That is ablmerch.com. We got the hats, t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, mugs, and more right there on the website, ablmerch.com. Also, please go to my regular website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. Go to the front page of the website. You'll be able to find articles for each video that I produce. And in each article, I got sources from the left, from the right, from the center, from the politically agnostic, Democrat, Republican, local, national, international, whatever you want. I got it right there on the front page of the website, AnthonyBLogan.com. Again, ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. Also, please go to the contact page of the website, AnthonyBLogan.com/contact-us. There you'll be able to find my email address, my SNML address, my UPS box, of course, my social media accounts, my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, never going to call it X. Shout out Elon, but I ain't going to do that. And TikTok, although I am 1,000 years old on TikTok, I got all my links right there on the contact page of the website, AnthonyBLogan.com/contact-us. And as I always say, if you're ever wondering if you are conversing with me on the interwebs or not, just check the method of communication. If you get a 15,000 digit WhatsApp number, that's not me. That's somebody in Lagos, Nigeria, or Kiev, Ukraine, trying to take a life savings. And they're trying to talk about Apple iTunes gift cards and foreign exchange. Like, we already know that's a scam. I don't want to get one more email from y'all, because I have gotten them, talking about, I trusted you. You didn't trust me. You could trust ABL. I ain't going to take nothing from you. I ain't going to rob you. But these scammers on the interwebs, that's all they do all day. That's all they do all day. They be in some hovel, wife beater on, sweating, no shoes, okay, on a old computer they got from a recycling center, e-waste dump. I cannot type out the card number. This type it a little slow. I could not see. They say it's a little slow. I cannot see the number, please. And on the back of the cards, give me the 3 numbers on the back of the card. That's not me. I don't talk like that. So yeah, don't get scammed. We don't got time for that in 2025. All righty. Hold on. Cardinal Flanagan says 1,000 years old, you say, still get Social Security checks. Hey, people are old as Joe Biden still getting checks. And this guy's pretty much immortal. I don't know what's going on. What kind of serum they put in his hind parts to animate him. But you got guys that's that old still getting these checks. I don't really get it. Well, I do get it. It's scam. It's fraud. It's waste. Abuse. Shout out to Doge for finding that out. Again, I like what Elon did. I like the Doge thing, that idea. Great idea. And the Doge idea has been thought of before, but never truly implemented. Barack Obama wanted to do it. A few guys wanted to do it, but I think Elon was the one who was able to do it successfully, at least to a certain extent. He'll say that the bill will wipe out the Doge savings. We'll see how it goes. We'll see. Elon isn't the only smart guy in this world, okay? So let's just leave that on that. But anyway, we got a few things that we got going on here. This guy is trying to become the mayor of New York City, if I'm not mistaken. Now, look, what's this guy's name? Zotar? I don't know. Hold on. I think his name is, hold on. New York City mayoral candidate, Muslim. His name is Mamadi. Zoran. Not Mamadi. Hold on. I got to say it right. I don't want to be racist. His name is Zoran, Zohran, Mamdani, Mamdani. And let me see where he's from. He was born in Kampala, Uganda, but clearly not African. Let me see. Okay. Both his parents are Indian, but one of them was born in Uganda and another was born in America. Okay, very interesting. Anyway, so here he is talking about he'll be President Trump's worst nightmare.
I am Donald Trump's worst nightmare as a progressive Muslim immigrant. New Yorkers मुश्किल से afford कर रहे हैं रोटी, कपड़ा और मकान. मैं ये सब बदलने के लिए लड़ रहा हूँ.
Zohran Mamdani, a radical socialist and Muslim terrorist sympathizer who's proudly described himself as more extreme than the far left, says he's Donald Trump's worst nightmare. He only became a U.S. citizen a few years ago, and his father is a Ugandan Muslim nationalist who also spread anti-Western ideology at Columbia. Shocker. So when this radical lunatic is polling second behind Andrew Cuomo and making the grandma killer actually look like the sane option, you know New York is in serious trouble.
Well, yeah, New York is in trouble, and Cuomo is the best option as far as I've seen. Cuomo is most certainly the best option. Now, some may not like that, but who else is going to be the mayor? Who else? And it's New York. New York at a certain point, I don't know. New York is not really my cup of tea. Shout out to the New Yorkers out there, but I'm still a country boy at heart. I'm not really into the North at all. Anything above Mason-Dixon line, count me out. Count me out. Also, anything past Texas, I'm a little bit suspicious. Anything past Texas to the west. Anything west of Texas, I'm a little bit, I don't know. I got to be a little careful out there, huh? Anyway, now here is Gavin, Emperor Gavin, Lord Gavin, talking about, you know what? Since Trump says he may withhold federal funding from California due to our ridiculous, crazy, far-left policies, we may stop making our payments. Now, is that legal? If you are a state and a union in a US of A, can you just stop paying your taxes to the federal government? Is that how that works? Because I thought that states were required to do that, and if you didn't, that means you want to secede. So what's going on here, King Gavin? You want the Republic of California? Is that what we got going on? What's happening? All right, let's check it out.
Donald Trump is threatening to defund California, but it's Econ 101. California is a donor state. We provide over $80 billion more in tax revenue to the federal government than the federal government provides to the people of the state of California. We help pay federal bills. So if Donald Trump's going to continue to threaten 40 million Americans that live in California, maybe we should consider withholding those resources.
All right. So what do y'all think? Is that a good strategy from Gavin Newsom? And here's my thing. I think we can find a way to not spend the $80 billion you're talking about. I think we can, look, if you guys just go away, become your own republic, and then you're going to need your own military. I think California, be totally honest, I think California needs us more than we need them. That's just my opinion. Also, California is a really big state. What the future may hold is that state breaks up because the interests of people in Southern California ain't the same thing as those in the far north, about Oregon, in the middle, like off the coast. Once you get closer to the desert areas or the big valley, it's different. People want different things. California is not just one place. It's like some of these countries all over the world where the lines were not drawn by those who live there, and you get all these groups clumped together and they don't really belong. That's kind of what's happening with California. So what do y'all think? Do y'all think that it'd be wise for Gavin to withhold the resources? Y'all let me know. Let me go have them. Hey, would they become part of Mexico or would they become totally independent? I think, if anything, they'd be totally independent. In the future, you could see this nation balkanize. You could see Texas become its own republic because they were before for a long time. They were their own country. California, same thing. California either breaks up as one big thing or it breaks up into different states. That could be what happens. So we'll see. Make California ready again? Hey, that could happen if you break it up, because you have so many leftists who have moved there and transformed the state. It's permanently that way. It's like Virginia to a certain extent. When I was a kid, Virginia was solid red. Solid red. Like I said before, I used to be a kid that would watch the news and observe the results. 8 years old, I'm looking at the news whenever the election was. Like, what was that, 94? Not 92. I was 8 years old. I never forget. This is Slick Willie. I remember watching that. And I remember Virginia being red. And I was asking mom or whoever, like, hey, what does it mean when the state is red? That's when I learned. And then every year I witness it. Every 4 years I witness it kind of go from a solid red to more purpley. And then it became blue, and it was blue for a long time. Now it's kind of going back to purple a little bit, as a lot of the liberals are moving a little bit more north to Maryland and not so much in Virginia. They kind of maxed out Virginia. They're going more to Maryland, or they're going to West Virginia and the Panhandle, so they could just take advantage of the cheap cost, the cost of living, the difference. But I saw the change. So California could be the same way. They were a red state at one point, and then they went blue. But the growth in Virginia came from Northern Virginia, the DC area, California, the Bay Area, all the tech people, and Los Angeles. That's going to be your two main liberal hubs. If you carve those out and have them sectioned off, California's not so blue. It's more red. All righty. So speaking about red, we got Kathy Griffin talking about she doesn't believe that the election was free and fair. It's funny now seeing these people come out on these podcasts, come out on the internet talking about the election was stolen, it was rigged. Now, if you or I said it, and that freeze frame is crazy, looking like a wide mouth bass. But anyway, if you or I said, hey, the election was stolen, it was rigged, at one point you were getting your channel deleted. They might come to your house, knock on the door, all of that. The J6 people that didn't even go inside the building, got their whole lives turned upside down. And now here we are, full circle, 2025. The left, those who criticize us for talking about the 2020 election, are now upset about a 2024 election. Let's watch.
All right, look, you ready for a tinfoil hat moment?
I'm sorry?
Are you ready for a tinfoil hat moment?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just going to be bold and say this. And, you can take issue with this all you want. I do not think he won in a free and fair election. How do you like that, lefties? Yeah, I said it. I'm Kathy Griffin, and I do not think Trump won in a free and fair election. I believe there was tampering. I don't know. I don't know if it was the Elon connection. I don't know if it was just a few good old boys in the South who didn't do what they accuse us of. If you remember Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss, what they tend to accuse us of is what we find out they themselves did. So I know I'll take heat for this and people are going to say I'm crazy, but I've been called crazy before, Don. And I just, the more times
Your gut is telling you something
my
happened.
gut is telling me the.
All right, so there we go. Kathy Griffin talking about the election was stolen. Now, I'm seeing that happen a lot more over the past few months and weeks ever since Trump became the president again. They can't handle it. There go them emotions. Can't handle it. I'm going to lash out. Yeah, it was stolen. Based on what? I don't know. I'm just upset. I'm triggered. That wig is crazy. Party city at best. But yeah, shout out to Kathy Griffin. Hey, now I know. Well, I knew before, but that's just further evidence that whatever the left says, take it with a grain of salt. They say anything. They don't care. They say anything. Whatever they got to say at a particular moment to try and prove a point, to try and be right, to try and hurt the other side, they'll say it. It doesn't have to be true, false. They just say anything. They don't care. Okay, now look. This guy right here, I think I've seen this before, but bro, I'm going to play some of this. If you guys have seen it, let me know. But this guy, this guy doesn't really like Trump supporters or those who, this guy does not like Trump supporters. Put it to you that way. Let's check it out.
This is going to sound a little bit harsh, but please hear me out. If you voted for Trump, I most likely want nothing to do with you for the rest of my life.
Bro, what's up with the music, man? Did you do that to you? Like, if you started talking about Trump supporters and you put music in the background, what's going on?
You have taken away honor out of this country, dignity. You have taken justice away. You have taken my peace, my son's peace, for the next 4 years, and most likely beyond. And most importantly, you have taken away the rights of people. People that have always left you the fuck alone and lived their life. But for some fucking reason, it bothers you that they're gonna have rights. Blood, I see.
Okay. That's quite a bit. That's quite enough. Now, I did not expect him to start cussing because of the sappy music in the background. I thought it was gonna be like a motivational type of, you about to start crying or something like that and be real sad. I didn't expect all that testosterone to come out with the sappy music. But yeah, shout out to the Baltimore Orioles. Are they a good team right now? I don't really know. But at the end of the day, bro, millions of us in this country, more than y'all on the left, millions of us voted for what we're getting millions of us voted for what we're getting right now. We wanted it. That's what we want. You're just upset. You're mad that you lost. Okay, that's fine. What you should do is find somebody you think is better for 2028 and try to make that work. But I don't think you guys are going to really ever come back. I think it's done for a while, at least nationally. I think it's done for a while nationally. I think JD Vance is great, and he's becoming better and better every day. I got a clip from him later. He was on Theo Vine. And by the way, shout out to Theo Vine. He did a really good job with JD. But JD Vance is in the driver's seat. He's already the vice president. Trump's popular. The economy numbers are a little weird. But overall, he's more popular than Joe Biden because he fixed what Joe Biden broke, which was the border. The migrant crisis was a mess. People are upset about the deportations, but how are you going to have on the low end 20 million people coming to the country, 20 million humans coming to the country within 4 years and not have any kind of effects, no kind of side effects, no kind of crime? Those who have a lot of money, the big wigs, they cool with it because they're able to get their Starbucks for the same price. But regular, everyday people got to be in the same places with these people. They have to interact with them in the no English, in the violence, in the different kind of cultural norms. And some of y'all ain't bathing right. Not all, but some. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Don't even play silly. We have to interact with them while they don't. And then they act like we're wrong for not wanting to do that when they don't do it. You see? Now, this young lady right here says she wants to make every MAGA in a 3-mile radius cry tears. Are you guys going to cry? Let's see if what she's talking about will work on you.
Fuck up. We're going feral. Well, the liberals have Trump derangement syndrome. Yeah, we do. I'm not going to sleep until I have made every MAGA in the 3-mile radius cry. We're going to do personal harm upon their psyches. Demure and mindful are out. Resisting while kicking and screaming are in. This channel is now dedicated to making sure they don't get away with a damn thing these next 4 years. They want to fuck around, we're gonna make them find out. You thought we were good at confronting MAGA bullshit before the fuck up. We're going feral. Well, the liberals have Trump derangement syndrome. Yeah, we do.
Okay, so I'm glad you're able to admit, hey, you know what? The first sign, the first step to recovery is admit you got a problem. Okay, check it out. Yes, we do have Trump derangement syndrome. Okay, that's a great place to start. You do have Trump derangement syndrome. I'm glad you recognize that. Now, what are we going to do as far as treatment is concerned? How are you going to actually hurt us? Don't hurt us. Don't hurt yourself. Get some help. Get your mind right. Get your mind right. That's the best way you could go. Trying to hurt people, trying to hurt yourself is not really going to do it for you. But do you guys think that she will be able to hurt you and hurt your psyche? Are you weak enough to allow anything that she'll say affect you? I'm not. I mean, nothing that this woman or anyone can say will hurt me. So I appreciate the effort, young lady, but I don't think it's really going to work. Yeah, go see your counselor. That's what I'm saying. Now, speaking about young ladies needing some therapy, needing some counseling, this right here, I don't know. I want y'all to tell me, have you encountered this kind of behavior, this kind of talk when referring to a pregnant woman? The person refuses to use the word woman. Let's watch.
Are you aware of the leading cause of death for pregnant people in the United States?
Women, moms,
Whatever terminology you want to use.
I just don't understand what pregnant people is referring to. Are we talking about women? Pregnant women?
People who are pregnant.
I mean, you're a board certified physician and you're telling me men can get pregnant in the United States today.
People who are born biologically female, have a uterus, but recognize that through society, they identify as male through gender norms. They are able to get pregnant, even though externally they may present themselves as a man.
So females.
Yeah, females and women. I mean, so again, this is a semantic argument.
I don't think it is, because honestly, we're watching the biological conversation of this twist and turn every single day. In fact, I get asked when I speak to kids groups all the time by little boys if they are one day going to grow up and get pregnant.
I think that's
in their sex ed classes. It does.
System.
And you know who is writing most of the sex ed curriculum? The vast majority of it in America today is Planned Parenthood. What has always been looked at, as we just said a few minutes ago, as this empowering, fulfilling, beautiful experience of motherhood, all of a sudden is attempting to strategically remove women from the process. It's why in clinical medical settings today, they often don't refer to mothers as mothers. They refer to them as birthing people. Breastfeeding is being relabeled as chest feeding, which doesn't just incorporate individuals who were born biologically female but identify as males, but instead, as you might be familiar, we are inducing lactation in biological men who otherwise do not have the capacity to ordinarily lactate, to feed their child. I don't know what we would call that. It's certainly not breast milk, but some sort of secretion. So I don't think this is semantics at all. I think we're removing strategically women from the process by engaging in what we like to call inclusive language, but in reality is just a lie. I don't know. I have a hard time believing a society who can't define what a woman is actually interested in including women.
Wow. Wow. Hey, hold on. Wow. Shout out to her. But that's right on point though. That's right on point, because listen, we're talking about women. You're talking about people that have children. We're talking about women. It's not nobody else. And I did not know they're actually inducing men to lactate. How's that even really a thing? How can a man breastfeed a child? It can't be breast milk. Do men, listen to all the people who know more than I do, all the scientists, all the women out there. Do men have any ability to produce breast milk? I've never heard that before in my entire life. Now they're saying they can make them do it. They can induce them to do it. Man, words matter. When you say men can get pregnant, people are going to think that men can get pregnant, although they can't. Little boys are hearing this. Little girls are hearing this, and they think they could get pregnant. So look, if a little boy come up to you and say, hey, Dr. X, Y, and Z, will I get pregnant one day? Can I become pregnant? What are you going to say? Some kind of convoluted complex? Well, nah, boys, men can't get pregnant. Only girls, women can get pregnant. Only females, XX, only they can get pregnant. Why make it be so complicated? It's so simple. It is so simple because you got some people who don't know what they want to be. They're kind of confused. Hey, man, let them have whatever kind of feelings they have on the inside. But at the end of the day, either you're a man or you're a woman. Either you're a boy or you're a girl. You're a male or female. That's it. Ain't nothing else in between. Am I pomegranate? Yes. Yes, you're pomegranate and I am avocado. I identify as an avocado. I have a lot of avocados in my fridge. I eat them a lot. So therefore now I'm an avocado. And if you say that I'm not an avocado, you're racist. You're racist against green food. You hate me because of the color of my actual skin on the outside. Anyway, so we have these people right here, these fat influencers, I guess they call themselves, talking about how the world has wronged them because of their size. Now, I've seen her before. I don't want to play her too much, but I've seen her before. She did the whole airplane thing, if I'm not mistaken. It was crazy. She did one video where she was like talking, and she was so big that she did not fit in the center of the frame. I'm like, you're like over here, and you're still not totally in the frame. It was crazy. But anyway, let's watch some of this. Hold on. A little bit of sound might help.
We're plus-size travelers. Of course we think about if we need a second seat before we book a flight.
We're plus-size travelers. Of course we ask for the seatbelt extender as soon as we board the flight.
We're plus-size travelers. Of course we get dirty looks anytime we're traveling.
We're plus-size travelers. Of course we're expected to pay more just to travel comfortably.
We're plus-size travelers. Of course we check to see if there's a customer size policy before booking.
We're plus-size travelers. Of course society doesn't believe we deserve to travel.
We're plus-size travelers. Of course we can't use the tray table on a plane.
We're plus-size travelers. Of course we can't use the airplane lavatory comfortably.
We're plus-size travelers. Of course we think about if we need a second seat before we book a flight.
Okay, now there's a lot I want to say. First of all, what did you notice right there? They're walking and talking. My man right here was out of breath. Just doing this little bit of walking and talking. He's out of breath, huffing and puffing. Listen, if you are out of breath from just walking a short distance, you got a problem. You got a really big problem, and I want you to get yourself together. Not for nothing, not because, okay, I hate fat people or whatever. I don't care nothing about how you look. I want to have your health get back on track. You should not be out of breath from this little walk you're doing, and not even really walking. In fact, you're kind of shuffling your feet. But anyway, now to get back to what they were saying about the airplane, as I said before, if you cannot fit in a seat comfortably, get another one. Find another one. If you can't fit on the airplane comfortably, get another seat or get a different way to go to where you're going. Point A to point B, find a different way. Get in the vehicle, get on the train, bus, something where it makes more sense for you. And then even if you're not a bit back and you're very tall, it could be uncomfortable. I've been on the plane before. I'm not very, very tall, but I'm taller than the average person. So it might be a little bit tight for me. I mean, that's not the airplane's fault. That's not the airline's fault. That's not anybody's fault. At that point, I just happen to be tall. But if you are 1,000 pounds, you could do something about that. So there's nothing that the airline should do to accommodate you more than what they already are doing. How about you accommodate yourself and get your body together? Yeah, get a U-Haul sit in the back. Y'all are crazy. Yeah, get a U-Haul sit in the back for sure. Sit in the back of the U-Haul and then just rock out back there. It's fine. Have somebody drive you from point A to point B in a U-Haul, and then you're good. You are 100% good. Now, shout out to Papaw. I think my man right here, World War II veteran. I think my man sees all this stuff, big backs complaining, people talking about they want to hurt those who support the president. This is not the America he remembers.
The real truth?
Yeah.
I feel like a foreigner in my own country lots of times, and I don't like it. It makes my heart real heavy. And I just hope we can pull out of this. There's too much Hollywood going on in Washington all the time. The important subjects they don't cover. So the thing is, I hope all the guys will rally up and we'll go back and straighten it all out.
So shout out to my man right here. Shout out to Pat Paul. World War II hero, World War II vet, still rocking and rolling. Now, I'm not quite sure when this video was. I don't know if it was very recent or not, but shout out to him. And a lot of people who may not necessarily be his age are looking around the country and they're like, what's going on? What happened? People are trying to now relocate to different parts of the nation where it still has some of that feel from back in the day. Or at least it's not gone totally crazy. A lot of your smaller areas, smaller towns, they still got some of that. A lot of these big cities, New York, LA, I don't know what they're going to do in the future. I have no idea. Like, you got a very expensive place in New York City, especially, a bunch of migrants doing all these little odds and ends and committing crime. I don't know what they're going to do in the future. I have no idea, but hey, shout out to the World War II vet. Sir, thank you for your service, of course. Of course. Now, here we come back to present day, and we have CNN, one of these panels, kind of a panel, but not really. You got my main man right here, Scott Jennings, and he's having to explain what a deportation order is as it relates to America's dad, the Maryland dad. Oh, he was just taking care of his wife and the kids. The same wife who was beaten up. that wife who was beaten up and she got a restraining order on him. Okay. Here he is talking about a deportation order in the case of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who unfortunately has come back to the US of A to face trial for the human trafficking in Tennessee back in 2022. Check it out.
Downplaying what we know. We know plenty about this person. What? We know that he lived in the country illegally for 14 years. I know it's okay with you.
I said that.
That's number one. We know.
Time out. No.
We know.
That's not. That is not okay with me, but that's not. But that's not a. But that is literally.
First of all, we all know that you both interrupt each other all the time.
That is not a crime.
To live in the country illegally?
That's not a crime. That's a status offense. Stop telling people stuff that's not true.
I am just. My mind is so blown here.
Go ahead and
by
finish.
the last 2 nights.
Scott,
it's not a criminal offense.
Bakari, just give. Can we give?
It's a civil violation.
Bakari, can we give Scott?
He's in the country illegally 14 years. That's number one. We also know what his wife told the courts and law enforcement about him. That he was violent, that he beat her.
But he's not being charged with that.
That he
That's
was.
hearsay.
That he was. So you said we don't know if he's a bad guy.
We don't.
I trust his wife when she runs off and says, "Please protect me from this man."
What if his wife said, "This man's great"? You wouldn't trust her. That's insane.
You're acting like we don't know things. We
Prosecute
do know
him.
things. We
Prosecute
know.
him.
And so,
prosecute him.
At a minimum, what we know should be more than enough for anybody at this table to say, "Yes, please
Scott,
get him the hell out."
Let me ask you this: do you?
Look, that's crazy. They're trying to defend this guy. It's so crazy. Look, we have evidence of what he has done. We have the gang tattoos on his knuckles. We have that, first of all. We also have the wife saying, documented, that he beat her up. Restraining order. We have that. We have videotape of him human trafficking migrants in a van. We have the video of it from 2022. And we did an investigation, and they said that he has done 100 such trips where he brought humans from point A to point B, men, women, and children. Human smuggling, wife beating, MS-13 gang member. The president of El Salvador came to the White House and said that the guy's a terrorist and he is where he belongs, which at the time was in that prison in El Salvador. Now, if you ask me, you should have stayed down there. Why do we want Kilmar back? For what? My due process. So what? Listen, once he gets convicted here, we'll pay to lock him up, and then once he's done, he'll go right back to where he was already at. What's the point? So I guess maybe the message is, hey, if you're able to prove you were in the U.S. illegally and there's some kind of clerical error in your deportation, when you get sent back to your country, you're able to come back, and rather than being in El Salvador prison, you're able to be in the U.S. prison where it's better, and then after a certain period of time, you can go back to the El Salvador. You get kind of a break from the brutality of El Salvador's prison system. So you get rewarded for being here illegally, and not only just being here illegally, but committing crime. You see, most of the migrants we're going after, most are going to be your straight up criminals, people who are doing things beyond just being here illegally. Being here illegally is crime enough. But then you want to be human trafficking and beating wife at the same time. I mean, this dude could have shot somebody right in the center of the street, and these people would still support him. They would still be on TV talking about, oh, well, he had a family. Due process. The dumbest humans in the world. All right, we got more. Hold on. So remember Chris Van Hollen went to El Salvador? Hold on. Okay, and I saw somebody trying to rush me again. I'll get to it when I get to it. Hold on. Remember when they met in El Salvador? Hold on. Yeah, this right here. This picture was completely nuts. It's like, what in the world, sir? Chris Van Hollen, what is happening? Why are you gazing into this man's eyes? Are you on a date? And then they brought out margaritas. That was crazy. Like, this whole trip was embarrassing. The margaritas, the casual clothing, this dude staring in his eyes, reaching across trying to break a touch barrier. Really weird. Really, really weird. Okay, and again, that is Kilmar Abrego Garcia, back when he was in El Salvador, and the U.S. Senator from Maryland, Chris Van Hollen. Now, here is Chris Van Hollen, all smiles. His boyfriend back, ain't he? He's all smiles. Let's hear this.
You know, I will never apologize for defending the Constitution. In fact, it's the Trump administration and all his cronies who should apologize to the country for putting us through this unnecessary situation, and to Abrego Garcia for putting him through this situation and his family. All I have said from the beginning is that the Trump administration should respect the rule of law and the Constitution of the United States. So really, it's President Trump who should apologize to the country for violating his oath to the Constitution. I'm glad in this moment they're finally doing what the Supreme Court said, but they continue, Anderson, to violate the Constitution in many, many other cases.
Senator Van Hollen.
You know, I will never
apologize to Kilmar for what? For what? Why would Trump apologize to Kilmar and the family? Why? Apologize for deporting someone who was on the list to be deported? Apologize to someone who is a human trafficker caught on videotape beating his wife? I ain't apologizing for nothing. I would be upset that he's back. If I'm Trump, I'm mad that he's back. It's like, why go through all the rigmarole to bring him back? He's going to get convicted. Keep him down there. Oh, it was a mistake, man. It wasn't no mistake. It was a clerical error at best. A clerical error at best. A clerical error, in my opinion, does not grant you re-entry into the country, even if you are going to get locked up. Lock him up down there where he was at, rather than having us spend our resources. Now, here's Pam Bondi talking about what Kilmar has done, allegedly.
Our government presented El Salvador with an arrest warrant, and they agreed to return him to our country. We're grateful to President Bukele for agreeing to return him to our country to face these very serious charges. This is what American justice looks like. Upon completion of his sentence, we anticipate he will be returned to his home country of El Salvador. The grand jury found that over the past 9 years, Abrego Garcia has played a significant role in an alien smuggling ring. They found this was his full-time job, not a contractor. He was a smuggler of humans and children and women. He made over 100 trips, the grand jury found, smuggling people throughout our country. MS-13 members, violent gang terrorist organization members throughout our country. Thousands of illegal aliens were smuggled.
So there you go. Let's just outline the whole thing. So some say this is a win. This is a good thing for us. I think either way, he was going to be locked up, whether it was down there or up here. Now, the Democrats got what they wanted to bring him, quote unquote, back. But are they going to be able to use this talking point anymore? They can't. Okay, you want him back. All right, now he's back. But we got a videotape right here. Hey, here got a tape right here of him with a bunch of illegal aliens in the vehicle in 2022. And your man Joe Biden, his administration said, don't worry about it. Imagine that. Imagine, let's just say, for an example, I have a van full of cocaine and guns and whatnot in the back. I get pulled over and the police see it right there. Will I get it? Will it be a call? Hey, I'm going to get put in the squad car immediately, right in the squad car. They going to see the drugs and the guns. All right, sorry, get out the car. Get out the car. Hands behind your back. Get on the ground. You're going to get put in a squad car immediately, and you're going straight to the penitentiary. You ain't going to jail. You're going straight to the joint. Big rocks, little rocks, that night. But with him, they had him in custody. They got a call from the feds. Yeah, you got Kilmar with all them people in it. Let him go. You good. Don't worry about it. Yeah, you good. Don't worry about it. That was under Biden, under his administration. Now, in 2025, we actually deport human traffickers. We actually punish them for breaking the law in this country. So you can't just get a phone call from the feds like, nah, he good. You and I would not get that kind of call. We got human beings in the vehicle, little kids in the car. Man, please. You go into the joint that night, big rocks, little rocks, ASAP. Ain't no trial, ain't no nothing. You might get deleted. Hey, the cop might get a little teeny bit trigger happy on your hind parts. Now, speaking about police and cops and whatnot, LA, for you guys, what's happening in AB? We're now talking about what's happening in LA, and the rule of law out there ain't really what it should be. I don't know how y'all live in California, at least in these parts. In the other parts of California, away from the city, okay. LA, Bay Area, I don't get it. I could never. You couldn't pay me any cash money to live in these areas. But here's some protests for you. And of course, the context is they're protesting immigration, ICE, etc. I'm sure there's quite a bit of illegal aliens in these places. Oh, yeah. I'm sure LA overrun with illegal aliens. It's to the point now where maybe there's more illegal aliens in California than regular citizens, at least in some parts, like in LA. Okay, I got to pause. Now, I was told that it's always the right that are engaging in violence. It's the right that are engaging in civil disobedience, civil unrest. I was always told that it's the right. But over the past 10 years, I've been on the internets doing this. It's always them. It's always them. The left can only point to one time where they think it was us, and that was J6. That was many, many, many years ago. This thing right here happens all the time. And I'm going to go out there and say that out of these same people were also at J6, and they're not conservatives. All right, so there we go. There's more. Oh, there's definitely more. Mexican nationalists and leftists have gathered to swarm law enforcement over rumors of an ICE operation in Paramount, California. All righty, so we get Mexican flags, stuff like this. Hey, you know what? Hold on. I let it play in the background as I say something. I got two words: tear gas. rubber bullets. Hey, crowd control. That's what I got, because you can't just let stuff go on. You just can't. You have to have some type of order. Now, I know you don't want to make it worse. You don't want to inflame tensions, but you got to have some type of order in these environments, or else you're going to have chaos. You're going to have pure chaos, which is kind of what we have right here over on the left coast. Okay, now we got people that are actually confronting the ICE agents. Okay, we got the old homie right here. Shout out to the old homie. Let's see what he says.
Go tell your mama how you proud of corralling people and taking them in. What crime did they make? What crime did they commit? Nothing. I'm sure you're proud, bitch. Oh, the motherfucker, it's corruption. Look at that. This is brand new motherfucker. So proud of standing so tall.
Here we go. A little bit of tear gas. Yeah. Tighten them up right quick. Tighten them up. A little bit of tear gas. Little O2, little tear gas, whatever they got going on. I like that.
Go tell your mama how you proud of corralling people.
So my man, the old homie right here, the old Bato right here asked the question, hey, what crime did they commit? Well, being here illegally. Being here illegally, that's a crime. You can't just do that. You can't just do that. Like, if I commit a crime, if I commit an infraction, if I'm somewhere where I shouldn't be, I'm held accountable. So why would anyone else be different? Because what, they're not a citizen, they get special rights? Since when? Oh, under Joe Biden, I guess they got special rights. Hey, you know what? Like I said before, migrants, they had their own little class. Their own little class. They could do whatever they want. But you and I cannot. Hold on. Somebody said Timu Trejo, Timu Machete. Yeah, Dollar Tree Viejo, Timu. The Chinese knockoff version of Danny Trejo. Yeah, shout out to the old Vato. But yeah, to answer your question, what crime did they commit? The crime they committed was being here illegally. That's a crime. Okay? And I don't like this whole class system they're trying to have in this country. If you're a citizen, you're kind of at the bottom. Regular everyday, you're at the bottom as a regular citizen. Migrant, you're up here. You get all kinds of benefits. You could break the law. Do whatever you want to do all the time, just like the Transformers. The Transformers and the migrants are like right here as far as their ability in society to do whatever they want to do. They're kind of like immune to certain crimes. And when they're held accountable for the crimes that they commit, then people want to try to defend them. I don't like that at all. Not in the least bit. Now, here we got some of the so-called protesters hurling rocks at vehicles as they drive by. Not very safe. I mean, this is crackhead behavior. Can I tell you a story from today? This is a true story, just today. So I leave out of here and I go to Chipotle. I like Chipotle when I'm not doing my regular salmon and rice. And when I go to Chipotle, I don't get the big bag stuff. I get no queso or nothing. I get a nice, clean, healthy, succulent Mexican meal, not Chinese. But anyway, I'm on the way. I got the drop top. I'm in the Mustang. Brrr. I'm going the back way behind Walmart, right? Now, there's a dude who hit the trash can behind one of the buildings. He's screaming, ah, white dude, right? I see him, and I'm like, maybe I shouldn't go that way, because I could go take a left, or I can go straight how I normally go. Like, you know what? I'm going to go straight. He ain't going to hit me. As I get up on him, he has a chain. The chain got to be 10 foot long. And the chain is like this thick. I'm not exaggerating. I don't know where this dope fiend got this chain from. The chain was so big, it was like he had a boa constrictor on his neck. It was huge. And he was strong, that dope fiend strength. Skinny white dude, but that strength was like he was on methamphetamine. Acid, cocaine, I don't know what he was on. PCP, but he was strong. Now, he did swing the chain at me, but luckily, I got the Mustang right past him. He swung it and almost connected, but I was good. So I expect that kind of behavior from a dope fiend, right? Somebody on drugs. This is that same kind of behavior. Dope fiend, crackhead. So normally I would not go into a crack infested place, but if you're in Los Angeles, where is it not crack infested? Where do you not have these miscreants misbehaving? I don't really know. But yeah, shout out to me. I did not get hit by Ghost Rider, Scorpion, or whatever you wanted to call him. Big Chain, get out of here. Psh. He missed me, but he almost connected. More of the story is, if you see somebody with a chain screaming, no shirt on, dirty, white dude, but he got a tan, my color, but he's white. If you see that guy swinging the chain, go the other way. But anyway, shout out to me for not getting hit with the chain. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. I got so many stories. Whenever I leave my house, it's always something. Always something. Now, speaking about crazy people and crazy situations, this right here to me was hilarious. Now, you got some of the protesters, right? The so-called protesters, and they're trying to block these vehicles. Now, this person was not very successful at being able to block the vehicle, and you can see just what happened when he tried. Let's watch.
Watch as the person in front falls and hits his head on the ground, and that just seemed like it was an injury. But then these agents then moved aside and then immediately took off, and we watched these agents.
Oh my goodness! No, one man fell. Hold on. I'm gonna play it with no sound doing. Look up here, upper right hand corner. Okay, you gotta watch it. So my man, I don't know what he thought. Okay, you have, I guess, ICE agents in these vans. He has both his hands on the hood, and he's like backpedaling as the car is in drive. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I was always taught, hey, if a car is moving straight, you might want to get out the way, because if you get hit, it's going to be real bad for you. Now, my man, maybe he didn't realize what was going to happen, but when he fell, that the position that he fell in was hilarious. Hold on. Back, up, boom. And now, hey, you pretty much dead right there. Like, if you would have kept going, it would have been a wrap. You didn't hit your head. You got a concussion. You didn't bruise, all kind of stuff. Okay, you bleeding. Look at this dude. Like, if I saw that, I'd be like, man, he dead. But I think he's okay. Now, if he's not okay and he winds up being hurt really bad, okay, I retract the laugh that I gave to this. Okay, I retract it. But right there, my. Hold on. My. Can we say that one more time? Bam, right on the ground. And his hands, the way he hit and that whiplash, he kind of like stiffened up. What do they call that when you get knocked out, you get punched, and then you go like this? Hold on, you go like, what do they call that? Is there a name for that? Because that's what he did. Watch. Okay, hands straight up, like he's trying to box the air, but ain't nobody there. You get knocked out, boom, and then you like this. That's what he did right there. More of the story is, when you try to be a protester, a rioter out there messing with these ICE agents, and you're in front of the vehicle, hey man, you might be just like that, pancake on the ground. They're out there with their phones. Oh, you hit my friend. I'm going to record you. I'll put you on TikTok. I'm going to record you. Bro. Oh, my goodness. Cold cop. Hey. Anyway, so yeah. Hopefully you guys out there in LA are safe. The protesters, quote unquote, are a mess out there. It's a chicken wing, and that's what he did. Crazy. Now, shout out to, moving right along, is it posturing, chicken winging? Okay, Stephen Hawking syndrome is crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, but the ICE, they weren't going to run them over. It just, gave him a little bit of road rash right quick, teach him a quick lesson, and then keep going. Okay, then keep going. Okay, now look, check it out. We got Theo Von with JD Vance. Now, I've not seen the entire podcast, but from what I've seen so far, it appears to be a very good one. It appears to be a very good one. If you guys have not seen it, I suggest you watch it. From what I've seen, it's good. Let's watch some of this.
Elon just...
And RIP to the headphone users. Oh, my goodness. What's up with that volume? My. Okay, let's try that one more time, shall we?
Elon just hit the airwaves today. Bring it up,
man.
Dude.
Oh, man.
The fucking shit missile is in the cannon.
I'm sorry for the cursing, but you can see what it says right here. They're recording this right when Elon was going through his meltdown, going through his post-breakup emotional situation, okay? So the tweet that they are responding to is when Elon said, time to drop a really big bomb. Where Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, Donald J. Trump. Now, of course, Elon deleted that tweet later because he realized, okay, I was doing too much. I was too emotional. I'm going to go ahead and delete that. And again, this is why I say a guy like Elon Musk is not suitable to really be in the government, because you cannot do stuff like that. These just emotional outbursts. You can't have these outbursts and be in power at all, because you're going to have an outburst. It's going to cause a war to happen, a famine or something like that. But anyway, they're responding to that tweet.
Okay. Wow.
Elon Musk, and you may have heard of him.
I've heard of him.
Time to drop the really big bomb, right? And I thought this was going to be on Iran.
So it's funny. I haven't even seen.
Right?
I haven't even seen this one.
But he goes, real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. This is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day. Nice signature from a South African DJT.
Man. Well, here's my basic reaction to like all this stuff is look. First of all, absolutely not. Donald Trump didn't do anything wrong with Jeffrey Epstein. Like, the guy is, whatever the Democrats and the media says about him, that's totally BS. Here's my basic read on it. First of all, I'm the vice president to President Trump. My loyalties are always going to be with the president. Mm-hmm. And I think that Elon, he's an incredible entrepreneur. He's actually done, I think Doge was really good. This sort of effort to root out waste, fraud, and abuse in our country was really good. And look, man, I'm always going to be loyal to the president, and I hope that eventually Elon kind of comes back into the fold. Maybe that's not possible now because he's gone so nuclear.
Well, his feelings,
but I hope it is, man.
Feels like his feelings are hurt. Why, though? Do you know why?
Yeah, I mean, so look, I think number one, Elon's new to politics, right? So his businesses are being attacked nonstop. They're literally like firebombing some of his cars. And by the way, we're looking into a lot of this stuff. I mean, some of that stuff we're looking into is an act of terrorism at the Department of Justice, because I think it is an act of terrorism. So I think part of it is this guy got into politics and has suffered a lot for it.
He didn't realize what it was going to be like. You know, like you could see what happens to you on the outside looking in, but once you're in it, you really don't know, especially when you've built a company and a brand that a lot of liberals like. You know, he didn't really realize it. Now he's experienced it and he's suffering and he's trying to figure out the best way to navigate it. This is why a lot of people don't want to be in politics. They always, every day I get asked the same question. Hey, ABL, when are you going to run? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Maybe I'll run one day, but it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a challenge. And before I run, I got to have a rock solid team in place. And I got a few people I know that could really be part of my team, but I couldn't just jump out there and just start doing what Elon is doing. And I think that Elon did way too much. The whole Wisconsin thing, that was a tad bit too much. The cheesehead, trying to, be out there with them big checks, giving out money. He was doing too much, in my humble opinion. And it kind of backfired on him, unfortunately. Although, again, I like what Elon brought to the table. He was doing a little bit too much and got in way over his head, in my humble opinion.
Politics, and has suffered a lot for it. But I mean, and I get the frustration there, and I get the frustration that, I mean, look, Congress, you got this spending bill. But the main purpose of the bill is not actually spending or cutting spending, though it does cut a lot of spending. Mm-hmm. The main purpose of the bill is to prevent the biggest tax increase. But I understand, like, it's a good bill. It's not a perfect bill. Like the process in DC, if you're a business leader, you probably get frustrated with that process because it's more, bureaucratic. It's more slow moving.
Yeah.
So I think there's just some frustrations there. But I really, man, I think it's a huge mistake for him to go after the president like that. And I think that if he and the president are in some blood feud, most importantly, it's going to be bad for the country. But I think it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be good for Elon either.
All right, so there we go. Shout out to JD and Theo Von. I like JD. I think he's going to do very well in the near future, for sure. He's going to do very well in the near future. What do y'all think about JD in 2028 to become the next president? I think he's in the driver's seat. Who else do you have aside from JD on the right? I mean, you got Vivek. But Vivek is JD's friend. So if Vivek is going to run, then so with JD. If anything, it would be JD with Vivek as a vice president, if anything. So those are your two stars right there, JD, Vivek. Who else do you have on the right now that could really make a splash in 2028? A younger person, not somebody that's like 80 years old, like Joe Biden or Trump again. And I love Trump, don't get it twisted. But of course, Trump has 2 terms and he can't serve another one. But you want someone as young as possible because you want them to be good at their job. You want them to be sound of mind. You don't want a weekend at Bernie situation like what happened with Joe Biden. Okay. So yeah, JD 2028. Yep, JD. I'm seeing in the comments. RFK. Nah, RFK has no chance. I like RFK, but no. And RFK is still type of RFK. You know what? Here's a hot take. Maybe I said it before. Maybe I have not said it, but I think RFK and Tulsi Gabbard and Elon Musk are in the same kind of category. They are there to help us achieve a certain goal. That's their role. They are for support, not for direct leadership. You understand? RFK is great at the health component of what we got going on. Great at that. Stay in your lane. Don't try to go above it. Elon Musk, great at the tech component. Great at the big brain, numbers, binary, code. Okay, you stay over there and do that. Don't try to be out there in Wisconsin trying to win the elections, giving speeches, cheese hats on your head, podcasts. That ain't your lane. Your lane is right here. Now, I like DeSantis, but I think that JD has more of the stuff you need to become the president. He has more of it. And you know the main thing he has? I know, superficial, that height. It matters. No president, I always say it, no president has been below 6 foot tall since the 1970s, Jimmy Carter. And he was 5'10". Okay, now to talk more about the whole Epstein connection to Trump, which is nothing. Here is Michael Cohen. Remember him? The big time Trump hater? Once Trump lawyer, now or turned Trump hater, went on MS-13 DNC and said that there's nothing there as it relates to President Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. Let's watch.
Is there a world in which these two transactional guys, Musk and Trump, figure out that it's better not to be fighting and come back together, or you think this
No, I think once Elon went so low in terms of talking about Epstein, and if we can stay on that topic for a quick second, look, I have extensive knowledge of Trump, being by his side for almost a decade and a half.
Right.
Let me dispel all of that notion. While he knew Jeffrey Epstein, and while, yes, he may be in the files in the form of Trump being in the black book, so were hundreds and hundreds of very name-worthy, influential individuals. I have zero knowledge of any relationship between Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, and I would have seen it over the course of
literally, because your prosecution was all about how much you knew, and your testimony to Congress
and I'm telling you, it's nonsense. It's to the best of my knowledge and everything that I know, it's not true. In fact, there was one case that came up. It was the Jane Doe versus Donald Trump that brought this topic into question. And what ultimately I discovered is the Jane Doe, and there was an address in the Bronx. I sent an investigator to that address. I wanted to literally follow and find out who this Jane Doe was. There's not even a building there. It was a vacant lot. And so I reached out to the lawyers. That was the first and only case that I had any knowledge of all of these allegations. So that doesn't mean that the big, beautiful bill, which I call the big, beautiful disaster, is not legitimate and it's not going to affect Americans. Doesn't mean that the other issues, that policy issues that...
All right, so there we go. So Michael Cohen saying, nah, it's not even like that. Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer said it ain't nothing like that. Michael Cohen saying nothing like that. There's nothing. Ain't nothing there. So, yeah, people knew Epstein, but the question is, did everyone that he knew go to the island? That's the question. Because you could know somebody, but you may not be on that level with them. Like, I know a lot of people that have done some things, nothing like what Epstein did, but I know guys that have been locked up. I know a lot of guys that have been locked up. Now, just because they get locked up and they're my friend, that don't mean that I was selling drugs with them. That's what they were doing. And they might have had guys that they were out there selling drugs with, but I was not involved in that. I was over there doing something else. I was not over there with them. And I think in 2007, Epstein was banned from Mar-a-Lago because of an incident happened with a young lady. He was banned from Mar-a-Lago. Like, people got it all twisted. But I think most of us already knew that. But some people are now new to politics and they didn't know that. So this is all new to them. But most of us who've been watching it for a long time have already known that. This ain't no new information. But Elon Musk put that out there to millions of people who have not heard it before. Now we got to go explain what's happening. Now, here we have President Trump on the airplane answering a few Elon Musk questions. I won't play the entire thing. I'll just play some of it. Let's check it out. And let's put it on the screen, get the full angle. Let's check it out.
And a good way to say...
And before you begin, like I said in my video, I'm glad we have a transparent president, a guy who actually answers questions, because the previous dude, Joe Biden, this guy wouldn't answer any questions. He might answer some questions, but it was, you got an index card, you're reading from that. He's basically just putting on the show. It's a performance. You're reciting for the play and you do your little speech. And his speech was like one sentence. Trump, on the other hand, is able to actually be asked questions and then give answers. It's not a rehearsed type of play. Let's watch.
And a good way to save money would be to cancel some of Musk's contracts. How seriously are you considering that?
Well, we'll take a look at everything. I look at everything. He's got a lot of money. He gets a lot of subsidy. So we'll take a look at that. Only if it's fair. Only if it's fair for him and for the country, I would certainly think about it, yeah, but it has to be fair.
Mr. President, would you consider reopening investigations into his companies? There are a bunch of investigations.
I didn't know that they had any, but they had them. I would just let them speak for themselves. I had no idea. Excuse me. I have no idea whether or not they had investigations.
And what's your view on Elon Musk as of today? I mean, have you heard from him at all? Is your team?
Honestly, I've been so busy working on China, working on Russia, working on Iran, working on so many. I'm not thinking about Elon. I just wish him well.
On the China talks.
On Mr. Musk's contracts, do you feel like the U.S. can survive without them? Obviously, you contribute a lot when it comes to defense and space, and that relationship has been important for quite some time.
The U.S. can survive without almost anybody.
And do you
accept me?
Did you have any concerns about his drug use when he was working for you?
I don't want to comment on his drug use. I don't know. I don't know what his status is. I read an article in the New York Times. I thought it was, frankly, it sounded very unfair to me.
You said earlier today that Mr. Musk had a problem. What did you mean by that? And did you misjudge him by bringing?
I don't want to talk about problems.
Now, I'll pause it right there. Now, the whole thing about the drug use, they say he's on ketamine. Now, I've heard about that, but I don't really know what that is. Do y'all know what ketamine is? Do y'all know what the effects of ketamine are? I don't know. So, pardon my ignorance on that. But that's the rumor that he does a lot of ketamine. And this could have sparked what's going on. I don't really know. I can't really call it. But I just think Elon, again, the emotional part, because he lost his bestie, that the bromance, he lost that. He lost that connection that he thought he had. He thought maybe because he raised so much money, like almost $300 million for the campaign, that he could just do whatever he wanted whenever he wanted. It's just not the way it works. You try to play kind of humble in the meetings, but at the same time, you just such a big gravity, a lot of pull is on you for attention. And you think you have more power than what you actually do. when you realize you don't have that much power, you want to kind of just react emotionally. That's kind of what happened. Maybe the drugs were involved. I don't really know. Griselda says joke is no good. Animal tranquilizer. Special K. Butthead says breaking up hurts. Elon knows. All right. Larry says animal tranquilizer. J Flow, same thing. Demon says it's not all that, ABL. Hey, hey man, I took your word for it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to challenge you on that. I'm not going to be like, you know what? Damon says it's not all that. I'm going to go ahead and just try it. Yeah, no, I'm cool on that. Y'all got it. Hey, I'll take your word for it. I'm not going to do no investigation on my own. Alrighty. Now look, here is Kash Patel, and he's what, the FBI director, right? Let me make sure I'm saying the right thing. Kash Patel is the FBI director, yes, and he's talking about Epstein and the alleged self-deletion.
Look.
Now, hopefully what he's saying right here happens, because I want to see what evidence they have. And I know they're going to say when the video, if it comes out, they'll say it's going to be AI. Oh, that's AI. We'll see. Let's watch this.
Let's just get to it, because I know it's on people's minds. Epstein, right? The reason people are pissed off about that is the same thing, right? 20 years ago, or whenever it was, 2006, 7, 8, Epstein gets his sweetheart plea deal, right? After committing the most horrific crimes on planet Earth, right? I wasn't in power there. I wasn't in place there. I had, nothing to do with it. But people were rightfully pissed. I mean, this guy was committing the most grotesque acts you can against children. And the media spins up about it. Many in the media protected him. Why? Because of his relationships, who he knew, who his bankers were, who his colleagues were, who was on the island and stuff like that. Some pretty powerful human beings. And so when you peel back the layer, and then what happened? The Trump administration, the last go around, decided, no, we're not going to let that go. We're going to investigate him, right? They charge him, they indict him, and he's awaiting trial. And I've said it, Dan Bongino said it, we've reviewed all the information, and the American public is going to get as much as we can release. He killed himself. Do you think, let's play out the logical conclusion of this. Do you think that myself, Bongino, and others would participate in hiding information about Epstein's grotesque activities? Or do you think we would also participate in not prosecuting people we had evidence to prosecute people on? But the problem is there's been like 15 years of people coming in and creating fictions about this that doesn't exist. Where's the videotape of an Epstein Island of X, Y, and Z committing these frauds? Why haven't you given it to us? Do you really think I wouldn't give that to you if it existed? I'm working my ass off, along with the leadership at the Bureau and DOJ, to get you what we're allowed to give you. And you're going to get the video of the cell. And you're going to see for yourself. And we will never be able to convince everyone.
All right, there you go. So do you guys believe what Kash Patel is saying? Again, Kash Patel, FBI director. Dan Bongino is a deputy FBI director. Do you guys believe it? Do you think that Epstein did delete himself? I don't know. For me, it's suspicious. Now, here's something I got to ask. I thought there were no cameras. I thought the cameras were off. So what camera are we talking about? What are we saying? So if there was a camera on and they caught video, then somebody lied in previous years, or maybe there's a brand new camera we're not hearing about. Why are we just not hearing about a camera? So maybe he's saying something right now that wasn't available back then. And my question would be, okay, if there was no camera back then, or if there was a camera back then and they said it's not a camera, why did they say it wasn't a camera? Were they trying to hide something? Or was it no camera? And are we going to get doctored, altered, fake AI footage now? We'll see. We shall see. Okay, we shall see. That's my question. All right. Now, here is Kash talking about Elon saying he had access to the Epstein files, or if Elon had access to the Epstein files. And I think they might have been recording this right around the same time that whole thing was going on between Trump and Elon.
Since we were talking about fake news, this is going to come up because it's been going on since we've been recording here. Elon and Trump seem to be in a bit of a spat. Joe, you want to check the tweet that Elon just put out a little bit ago?
Time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day. Jesus Christ.
I'm not participating in any of that conversation between Elon
Have
and
a nice day, DJT. Someone should take his phone away.
They're going back and forth about different things. And
yeah. Listen,
well, he said he was disappointed in Elon.
Yeah, they told him to leave.
Jesus Christ, that's a crazy thing to say. How does he know? Does he know that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files? Or does he have access to the Epstein files?
I don't know how he would, but I'm just staying out of the Trump-Elon thing. That's way outside my lane.
What the fuck are they doing?
I know my lane, and that ain't it.
I just don't. I mean, I understand he owns Twitter. I think it's bad for your mental health.
Ultra methylene. All right, there we go. So yeah, shout out to not Dan Magino. Shout out to Kash Patel and Joe. What do y'all think? Do we like Kash Patel? I like Kash. I like Dan Magino. I like Kash, but I understand some may not really like what he's talking about because it goes against what a lot of us think or what a lot of us would know. The suspicion is off the charts when it comes to at least the Epstein thing. He deleted himself for real in that cell. That's hard to believe, but we'll see. If there's video of it, I want to see it. Hey, put it on Twitter, put it on YouTube, uncensored, unredacted. Matter of fact, put it on whitehouse.gov. So you don't got to worry about the social media censorship. Put it right there on whitehouse.gov. Boom, and let us watch it. Now, there's a podcast with Samuel L. Jackson talking about the Kendrick Lamar halftime show. Remember the Kendrick Lamar halftime show for Super Bowl? And people were like, what is this? I don't understand what he's saying. Listen, Kendrick Lamar, I guess some people they like that song he had. They're not like us. Okay, that's cool, but it didn't really fit the moment. For that moment, I need some instrumentation, marching band, guitar, something other than rap that you don't understand. If you don't know that song already, you're not going to know what's going on. Now, Samuel L. Jackson didn't even know what was going on himself, but he just agreed to do the halftime show, and he was able to see what they were talking about during rehearsals. So he was as lost as you were. Let's watch some of this. All right, and RIP to the headphone users in advance. Let's let it rock and roll. Now, I don't know who she is with the little, you know what I mean, the beret situation. If you know who she is, let me know in the comments below.
What did that feel like, though, feeling like you contributed to positive change?
I don't know that, I don't know that I did. I know that I did what I thought was right, and I took part in it, and that I used my voice and I used myself in a way,
You're still doing that, though, right? Because you did the thing with Kendrick.
Oh, well, see, I didn't know that's what they were doing.
Didn't you?
Well, it was kind of...
And another thing.
It was kind of trippy because when we were rehearsing, we just had our clothes on.
Yeah.
And I was looking at the dancers and they were doing that dance, doing the things and doing the stuff. And it wasn't until dress rehearsal that when I looked up and I looked on that stage and I go, oh shit, that's a flag. Yeah. And he was doing this. Oh, fuck.
I'm in the civil rights movement again.
We're being revolutionary. It's like, because I wasn't listening or paying attention. You picked the right person, but the wrong time. And all that's like, the revolution. I was like, oh, shit. Okay, here I am again. But,
But it was a great thing.
Something about me or my persona has put me in the right place at the right time in change of the zeitgeist in a way, in a lot of different moments in my life.
All right, that's enough of that. So he didn't even know what was going on. He's like, y'all bringing out flags and what's going on? So if you were lost during the halftime show, you were not alone. My man who was in the show was kind of figuring out what was happening as it was happening. So that's how bad, in my opinion, the song was. That's how bad the pick was. People who were in the performance had no clue what was going on. So yeah, shout out Samuel L. Jackson for keeping it all the way real. I don't know who the young lady is, but yeah, shout out to her too with her. What is that anyway? What kind of hat is that? Is that a beret with like shower curtains on it? Like shower curtain rings? I don't know what's going on. But yeah, LA, man, weird place. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Coach Carter. Who else was Samuel L. Jackson? My man from Lean On Me, the principal. Crazy Joe with the bat. Call me Crazy Joe. Now they're going to call me Batman. Anyway, speaking about entertainers, this is an interesting story from Sean Stockman from Boyz II Men about how you went to both Russia and one more place. I ain't gonna tell you yet, but definitely Russia first. Okay, let's watch.
Moscow. Putin invited us.
Really?
You can look it up. Putin invites Boyz II Men to help replenish the population of the country. And we went. And we sang I'll Make Love to You. And there's a lot of couples in the room and hopefully a lot of love making after that.
And you felt safe?
Yeah.
It's like going to North Korea. I'm not going.
Oh, we went there too, so to speak.
You guys are
I'll explain that. We visited the South Korean DMZ, which is the demilitarization zone, the line that separates South from North. We can look across and see North Korea. You see the soldiers and they're staring. They're trying to figure out who are these black kids. There's a building that's right smack in the middle of the border. One half is on North Korea's side. The other half's on South Korea's side. That is the only time South and North has conversation, is in that room. We were allowed to go in that room. And in that room, the microphones are always on. So we crossed over to that side, to North Korea, and sang for them.
You weren't at all scared, nervous, nothing? No part of you?
No. If it was going to go down at that point, I'd have been dead anyway.
Wow, imagine that. Imagine you part of a singing group and you're now engaging kind of like geopolitics because you're going to Russia to help them increase their birth rate. Imagine that. Hey, do y'all think that was a good idea from Vladimir Putin to try and do that for his nation? I mean, look, we all trying to do that right now, right? Or we got low birth rates, trying to bring in the migrants. Okay. Now, is that why there's so much of this? I think at a certain point, if you get too much, of that type of energy to where it goes over the line into the OnlyFans type stuff, you're going to have a decrease in the birth rate. But if you got more couples and regular marriages, and then you bring in a little bit more, it can kind of help it grow up. I don't know. But yeah, shout out to, again, Sean Stockman from Boyz II Men talking about going to both Russia and North Korea. Now, Simone Biles, y'all know Simone Biles, the Olympic gymnast, world famous. She did not like Riley Gaines talking about the Transformers, the boys, the men in women's and girls sports. So here's what she says. You're truly sick. All of this campaigning because you lost a race. Straight up sore loser. You should be uplifting the trans community and perhaps finding a way to make sports inclusive or creating a new avenue where trans feel safe in sports, maybe a transgender category in all sports. But instead, you bully them. One thing's for sure is no one in sports is safe with you around. And then she says, bully someone your own size, which would ironically be a male. Now, I guess she thinks that Riley Gaines is very tall. Riley Gaines is 5'5". Okay. Now, let's go to what Riley Gaines said, and then I'm going to show you an example of how men would dominate a Simone Biles in her sport. Okay, I'm going to show you that. But first, here's what Riley Gaines said. Let me zoom in a little bit. This is so disappointing. My take is the least controversial on the planet. Simone Biles being a male apologist at the expense of young girls' dreams. Didn't have that on my bingo card. Maybe she should compete in pommel horse and rings in 2028. Now, if you've not seen pommel horse and rings, let me give you kind of an example. A little teeny bit. This ain't quite pommel horse and rings, but you can get the idea. So here is a male, obviously, doing kind of a floor routine that'd be similar to the pommel horse. Okay, let's watch this. No music, but you can see what he's doing. Okay. And now let's have her do the same thing. All right, world famous gold medalist Simone Biles. Now look, you can see the upper body strength right here is different. Everything here is different. Look at this. All right, and they're both highly trained athletes. We ain't talking about bums on the street. These are both highly trained athletes, and she can't do what he just did. So if a man competes against her, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Come on now. Like, this is not something that's really that controversial. All Riley Gaines is saying is, hey, we got to have women in women's sports, men in men's sports. If the men want to have their own league where they're the lesser men, not good enough to compete with the regular men, then let them create it. But they should not try to impose upon the woman's space. It's very simple. Okay, now, here's something else I want to show. This is UFC champion Juliana Pena. She tried to fight a 6'3" line cook at her former job, a line cook. Now, I don't think he was going to be a trained fighter. He's a dude out there. He out there sauteing vegetables. He up there cutting up brisket and stuff like this. And he whipped her up with his hands and feet, or his hands. Although she thinks that she's a big fighter, a trained fighter, she can beat a man. No, she can't. No, she can't. So when people talk about, oh, well, Ronda Rousey, nah, let's watch some of this, shall we? Let's watch.
My stupidity thinking that I could beat a man.
Let me start from the top.
My stupidity thinking that I could beat a man. I went into the back alley while I was serving and I fought the line cook, going at each other for a long time. A long story. He dropped me 3 times. I got dropped. I popped right back up. I went at him again. He dropped me again. I had my eye swollen shut for 3 days and 11 stitches in my eye. I thought that I could fight a man. I don't have any ego to be like, I could beat a man. Learned my lesson. I don't want anything to do with fighting dudes. I actually was in my head of being like, no, I'm a pro fighter. I can fight this guy and I'm going to beat him. Juliana, he's 6'3", you're 5'6". Like, take that into account, you know, or like trying to like bob and weave your way in there to like get him down. All I got to do is get in close and take him down and then I'll choke him. I couldn't even do that because the second that I tried to enter, I was getting dropped. I got fired and he got to keep his job. There was a guy that was watching the whole time and he didn't even stop it.
Who is this line cook and why has he not been signed?
So yeah, the line cook is a regular dude. He's not a trained fighter. He out there sauteing vegetables, and you want to try to fight him, you getting dropped. Bop, 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 straight. All of this right here, you getting dropped. You are a trained fighter, and you can fight, but you are best suited to fight other women. There might be a very, very weak male you could take, but any male with any kind of fighting skills, and that size especially, you're not going to be able to do nothing with them. Even when you're talking about men, that's why you have weight classes and stuff like this. Okay, you're talking about somebody that's 5'6", going against a big 275-pound guy. They could both be heavily trained guys, but still the bigger guy's going to win. And even if you have evenly matched as far as weight and height, men and women, the men's still going to win. You got different bone structure, density, muscle mass, upper body strength, fast twitch muscles. Hormones are different. Pain receptors are different. Everything is different when you're talking about men versus women. So, hey, she learned the hard way. Talking about some, oh, it was a guy watching, he didn't stop it. Nah. Why would a guy stop it? You said that you're a professional fighter. You wanted to go outside and fight. Okay, go ahead. I'm not getting involved. I'm going to let y'all fight. Now, if the guy was like stomping the route and doing something crazy, yeah, I'm going to stop that. But just a regular fight that you wanted, nah, go ahead and do that. Equal rights, you're going to get equal rights and lefts. Hey, you're going to get equal rights and lefts all up in your head, all up in here, equal rights and lefts. All right. Yeah, if you have a man versus a woman, it usually doesn't work, which is why you have men's sports and women's sports. And what if the line cook identified as trans? What if he identified as trans? Would that not count as a male versus a female? Come on, be serious. Anyway, now, speaking about transformers in sports, Lord Gavin says that he lost friends and family because he opposed men and women's sports. Do y'all believe what Gavin said? Let's watch.
That's my point of view. I lost a few. We don't need to have a public therapy session here, but I lost some good friends. Like, I mean, they won't talk to me. They're done. And, you know, I appreciate they felt hurt. They felt that a point of view, was, you know, somehow diminishing. As someone has been an advocate that I put up against any other elected official. I mean, I have a very strong record, as you know. I think the first time I was on your show was on the issue of LGBT rights. And I've been an advocate for decades and decades, but on the issue of sports and what you just, you laid out as it relates to, many different factors that are unique and for regardless of puberty blockers. I just think this issue we have to address, and to not address, we are in denial. I expressed my point of view. I lost a few. All
right, so there we go. That's Gavin. So what do y'all think? Lost a few friends, maybe some of them French Laundry people that he would normally hang out with, all of a sudden don't want to hang out with him anymore. What do y'all think? Y'all buying it, not buying it? What's going on? All right. So yeah, shout out to Lord Gavin, the Emperor of California. Oh, and here's something. This was a good one. Okay, I'm gonna get into a little bit of the financial stuff here. This was a crazy thing. Okay, so the wife in this case, it's a caller to Dave Ramsey's show. Yeah, Dave Ramsey. Shout out to Dave Ramsey, the financial guy. A caller calls in and says, "Hey, my wife wants to spend $17,000 for cancer treatment for my cat." Again, the wife wants to spend $17,000 for cancer treatment for her cat. Okay. Now you can see my comment right here. Cat gonna die in a month anyway. RIP to the cat. But let's hear what the guy is saying so you understand my comment in full context, shall we? All righty, let's watch.
3.5 years, and we just welcomed our first baby 6 months ago.
So you said it married 3.5 years and just had a baby.
I work construction, and my wife stays home with the baby. But yeah, I'm the one bringing in the paycheck. For the last 2 years, I've been saving every extra dollar for house down payment. Anyway, we've managed to stash about $21,000. It's not a fortune, but for us, it's huge. So here's where everything kind of went sideways. Our cat, turns out he's got this aggressive cancer on his jaw. Vet says they can try a surgery and chemo combo that might buy in time, but it's $17,000 up front and no promise. My wife loves that cat and wants to go all in for the treatment. Technically, we do have $21,000, but that's the whole house fund. And even if the surgery works, the vet said recovery's rough. We'd need more follow-up visits, meds, maybe another procedure, could be thousands more. I tried to explain the math. If we spend it, we reset the clock on the house. Now she barely talks to me. So yeah, I don't know what to do. I love my wife. I love our baby. Heck, I even love the cat, but I also dreamed of handing her house keys this time next year.
So what do y'all do? Spending money on the cat? Okay, you got $21,000. You can do two things, or you could do one of two things. The first thing, you take $17,000, spend it on the cat, and you might have to spend the entire 21 plus more to keep the cat alive, and the cat might die in the month. Or you take the $21,000 and put that toward the house. What do you do? Now look, if it's me, hey, some of these cats and dogs walking around are suffering. Hey, I told y'all, I'm Christy known. I'm taking the dog out back. I'm taking the cat out back, and I'm going to just put it out of his misery. I'm not going to have this pet suffer. If you love something, you must let it go. Let these 85-year-old cats and dogs go. Let them go instead of just hobbling around, sick, crazy. Nah, man. Nah. And I'm not insensitive when I say that. I'm just being the realist. That's all. Because it's got to be done. I don't want the cat and dog to be suffering because I don't want to let them go because I'm selfish. I don't want that. So yeah, Jeanette says, going to my new house. There you go. Hey, get them keys to the house. Boom. Keys to the house. We get a brand new cat. Hey, and guess what? The brand new cat ain't going to cost $17,000. I'll tell you that right now. Okay, I'll tell you that right now. Matter of fact, where I live at, we got some neighborhood cats. Take one of their kittens and bring them in the house, and boom, you got a brand new cat. There you go. Voila. Voila. It's just that simple. Now, okay. If you ever... This guy says he notices something as it relates to gym occupancy and employment rates. Okay, let's see some of this right here. as you can see on the screen, it says 36% of the U.S. is actually employed. That's a pretty low number that's actually employed. Maybe that's like out of every man, woman, and child. That's including all adults, all children, migrants, everybody. I'm not sure. Let's watch.
If you ever wonder why the gym's always so busy on a random Tuesday at like 10 a.m., this video's for you. So I went and did the math so you don't have to. So right now, the United States Labor Bureau reports that the unemployment rate is about 4%. Well, that is only factoring the active workforce. And if you look up the active workforce numbers, that's around 160 million Americans out of around a 330 million American population.
Oh, okay. So you including little kids. Like, all right, I'm gonna give you a listen because I'm interested, but you're kind of starting off a little bit rocky because you're including people that really shouldn't be included. Babies, little kids, 1,000-year-old people, Joe Biden.
So that means about 50% of America is either actively working, has a part-time job, or is looking for a job, unemployed. That leaves 50% of people without a job. So they're just doing whatever on a daily basis. And of that 50% that's actually in the workforce, if you take away the part-time jobs and you take away the people who are unemployed, that only leaves about 75% of the people who actually have a full-time job working Monday through Friday. And now with work-life balance and people being able to work remotely and they can, be a little more flexible with their schedule, they can go to the gym at Tuesday at 10 a.m. So when you look at those numbers, that's only about 36% of the United States population that is actually working a 9-to-5 job or is fully employed. So there you go.
Okay, so that wasn't really all that good, bro. I thought, hey, man, you had your little mustache and some. I'm like, okay, you gonna do? It was all right. I kind of get his point though about you're going to see more people going to the gym and stuff like that. Yeah, I've heard that people talking about. Well, how are you able to go to the gym at like 10 a.m. on a Tuesday? How is that possible if you are of working age? Yeah, I have heard that. I have heard. What do y'all think? Or do you see more people just out in the middle of the daytime who should be working or are of working age? Y'all let me know. Yeah, because if you are retired, elderly, a child, or you might, be a stay-at-home mom or something like that, excuse me, you're not going to be working. But if you are of working age and you should be working, do you see them just kind of out and about chilling more than normal or not? Y'all let me know. Okay. Somebody said gross next. So, okay, we got a different guy with a pink overshirt who says 30K in Spain is better than 100K in the U.S. Now, just by me saying that, do y'all agree with that? 30K in Spain is better than 100K in the U.S. Do y'all agree? Y'all let me know. Let's watch.
Spain, you can earn less and still the quality of life that you'll have is very, very good in terms of, from my experience, some of the best things that I like to do are free, like the weather in Spain comes for free. And is there good weather in the US? In some states, yes. In some states, no. But like it comes into everything when it comes to driving everywhere, for example, in the US. And it's the same thing as well. It's like, okay, I get not everywhere you have to drive in the US, but generally you have to drive in the US. Generally, the healthcare is having a heart attack could literally bankrupt you in the US, which is just a crazy concept, In Spain, like you're not gonna, that won't happen basically. Like your medical bills alone in the US could ruin you. Quality of life here is good, and not the quality of life in the stereotypical way of like siesta, fiesta, because that's done and a bit overdone. And I get it, like, yeah, people get that. I think at this point people get that's not really the reality of Spain. Well, I guess for some people it might be, but that's not the real reality of Spain, because yes, people work hard here in Spain as well. People have the 9-5 as well. A lot of the best things in life in Spain are for free. So it's like the weather, it's like the terrazas, it's like the going for a run down the Rio. It's just the social side of things and maybe the interactions you have on the street and the general feeling of a place. Whereas in the States, when I've been there, it has a lot of good things about it as well. But let's face it, your money doesn't go as far, and you're in the rat race a little bit more over there.
Okay, so I'm okay. One thing, I'm hearing an Australian accent. So okay, you went to the U.S. Now you were in Spain. Where else have you been? You pretty much just traveling the world, going wherever, and you're not really part of the country like that. And then you're judging the country based upon you being an outsider as a visitor. So it's kind of hard to do that. What about the regular everyday person who's from Spain, born and raised in Spain? How is life for them? Is it good there, or do they want to leave and go somewhere else? Do they want to come to the States? Now, I'm just asking. I don't know. I've not been to Spain, and I don't know how the average Spaniard lives. But you as an outsider have a different perspective. And then my question would be, what do you do for a living? Do you pay taxes in Spain, or are you just kind of hanging out for a while, like an extended tourist? What are you doing there for real? Because if you are living and working in Spain, them taxes are going to hit you right upside the head. Oh, they're going to beat you upside the head with them taxes in Spain, Portugal, all of that over there. You have the so-called cheap or inexpensive or free healthcare because you're getting taxed to death as a Spaniard or Portuguese, UK citizen, whatever. Now, what do y'all think? Is that true? Is it false? Y'all hit me up. Yeah, but shout out to Spain. Shout out to the Spaniards. I'm going to go check it out. I'm going to go visit and see what all the fuss is about. But hey, at the end of the day, Spain might be nice and all, but USA is the best in this whole planet Earth. It is the best. Now, speaking about Spain, this person shows an ambulance bill, and it kind of goes into what I was saying about how the healthcare is. Okay, you might have healthcare that's inexpensive, but what's the story behind that? Is it just free or inexpensive for no reason? How do doctor bills and hospitals, how are doctors paid? How do hospitals stay operational?
My dad fell down the stairs in Madrid and broke his humerus. They had to call an ambulance. He had to go to the hospital, x-rays, everything. And it was a pretty big hospital visit, you know, all the things. They could give him medicine, all that. Oh, there he is with his sling. So we get the bill. Guess how much it is? Guess how much an ambulance and hospital and x-ray bill. He has no insurance. He's not from Spain. He's just visiting. He doesn't live here. Can you see it?
So the bill is 185. What's that? Euro?
185 euro for the ambulance, for the everything, with no insurance, nothing. He doesn't.
Now he doesn't live there. He's not from there. Hold on, I'm gonna let her finish.
He doesn't live here. This is like full blown what a person would pay without insurance.
Okay, now here's my question. Obviously, what he got is going to cost more than 185. He paid 185. So who paid the rest? Who paid the rest? That is just like when we get these migrants, they come here and they go to the hospital and they get worked on. They get all kind of procedures, having babies. It reminds me of the whole thing in Springfield, Ohio. Remember, all the Haitian migrants came, 20,000 of them, and a lot of them were pregnant, having anchor babies, and a lot of them had HIV, all kind of stuff. So there's extra services that they are given that they don't pay for. We, the people, we, the taxpayer, pay for it. So your dad was able to get that really cheap service because the people of Spain paid for his bill. The same kind of way in Springfield, Ohio, we paid for the Haitians to have the no driving ability. We're paying the higher car insurance rate while they have no car insurance. We're the ones paying the higher tax rate to pay for their births, to pay for their HIV treatment, to pay for all their housing. We're the ones paying the higher bill for it while they're able to get it for free. And that's part of the reason why we say the migrants got to go. We give them all of our tax money and we don't get much in return, except for the crime and the violence. Maybe you might get a cheaper worker at a chicken plant, but how much cheaper are they if we are subsidizing them? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. They're eating the dogs. Shout out to Ed Zachary. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. But yeah, that's what's going on there. Now let's go over to, where are we going?
I live in this.
I'm not sure where this is, but we have a creator house somewhere and he lives like a bunch of people. Here's my question. Would you guys live in a house with 20 adults, a creator house somewhere in some kind of random place in the world? Would you live there? Let's see what they all do for a living.
I live in this house with 20 people in Bali. Let's see how they make money while they're traveling.
Okay, they're in Bali. Okay.
Industry, how do you make money while traveling?
I work as a freelance video editor.
Nick, how do you make money while traveling?
I'm a software engineer, so I do contract work for other people. Also a designer.
Randina, how do you make money while traveling?
Dental marketing.
Julius, how do you make money while traveling?
I write articles, I edit videos, I make 3D animations.
Vilda, how do you make money while traveling?
I don't.
No, I don't really have any income at the moment. Just saving up.
Kenya, how do you make money while traveling?
Online coaching.
I live in this house with 20 people in Bali. Let's see how they make money while they're traveling.
All right, so there we go. So what do y'all think? Would y'all sign up for that house? Would y'all go work in there? I don't know. I don't like being around that many grown people in one house, especially if I don't really know them like that. Yeah, I'm not really, because people's habits, man. Some of y'all habits, they're not really right. Some of y'all habits I can't do nothing with it. Okay, that's not really my cup of tea. Now, this girl here is in Mexico, and she's showing things in their grocery stores that we don't have over here. Now, I saw some of this, and I was kind of surprised at what she was showing. Let's watch some of this here, and let's get a little bit of volume. Again, she's in Mexico at a grocery store showing how it's not the same thing as Americans.
Mexican grocery stores that I'm still not used to as an American. Number one, most of the milk being out on the shelves instead of in the refrigerator. People have explained to me why before, but I still don't understand. Two, the design of most of the cereal boxes is different. Anytime they have this excessive calories or excessive sugars, they don't have characters on them. Apparently that's a law that was passed so that they don't appeal to kids. Like these Fruit Loops don't have a character, but then these ones do because it says that it has a better recipe. 70% reduction in sugars, and it's high in fiber and vitamins and minerals.
Oh, hey, I like what I'm hearing so far. This is my kind of grocery store. Oh, yeah, my kind of store so far. Let's keep on going.
Three is how good the prepared food section is. So in the fish section, they have aguachile, ceviche de camarón y de calamar, and all kinds of different guisados, which are like stews. Four is the different sizing in bottles, and the fact that the pricing between the smallest and the largest is not very different. This is 355 milliliters. It's literally so tiny. This one's actually smaller. It's 235 milliliters. Like it's literally the size of my hand. Then they have the normal size, this awkward 1.35 liter size, 1.75. This is 2.75. It's just so many. They also have these Coca-Cola coffee things. They're actually pretty good. Lastly, how hard it is to find fragrance-free laundry detergent and toilet paper. Draft is the only one that doesn't give me hives, but it's $27. Like I said, I always have to triple check the toilet paper too.
Why is it always with a fragrance? I don't like the ones that have fragrance in them. Give me the fragrance-free. Or I use OxyClean or them Tide Pods that have the no fragrance. But normally I use OxyClean. I don't like the fragrance in my stuff. Yeah, I just want it to be clean. Get the dirt out and be clean. And if it's clean, it's gonna smell good. That's my logic. Yeah, that's different. So I don't really like that about the detergent, being all having fragrance and toilet paper. But as far as the milk being on the shelf, it's probably because it's pretty fresh. Probably got fresh milk, probably got a farm nearby. That's what I would think, because you refrigerate to keep it longer. But if it's right there just on the shelf like that, it means it's probably fresh. And then I like how they have the excessive calories and sugar label on the package with no character, so it doesn't appeal to kids. That's a very, very smart thing. Very smart thing. Okay. So yeah, shout out to Mexico. Now, here is a $2 Airbnb in Thailand. Now, I would most certainly stay in a spot like this. Oh yeah, this is all right up my alley. Okay, right up my alley. Now, some of y'all, it might be a little bit too third worldish, but I like it. As long as it ain't too many mosquitoes and too many big crazy bugs on my forehead when I wake up, I'm good.
It's my $2 Airbnb in Thailand. Let me give you guys a tour. Climb these stairs to get... Okay. Pretty nice view from the top. I definitely need to be using the fan. So hot. Oh, even an envelope. Thank you for coming here. Say hi to guest in room 3. There's a guest in room 3. Yeah. And you have guests every day?
Yeah, I have guests every day.
It took me 1 month to book this. Long wait. And this is the shower?
Yeah, shower, Thai style only. Yeah. Soap, shampoo.
You can look at yourself while you shower. Do you use this one too?
Yeah, I live here. I like this game, but need to use 5 people.
Ah, what's this? Ice.
This is my room.
We're getting it exclusive.
My mattress, I sleep here. And this another guest, Mexico guest.
How long has he been living here for?
Maybe 6 months.
6 months?
Yeah.
With you?
Yeah, with me. How
much does he pay for rent?
Maybe $1 per night. Not for everyone.
Little office here.
My office. Yeah, my office, my area.
People want to book?
Yeah, they can. But not for everyone. Save money when travel in Thailand. They need to come.
Hey man, like I would do it. Now I don't get it twisted. People say, "Are you serious, ABL?" Yeah, I'm serious. I'm dead serious. I wouldn't just stay there like all the time. It ain't like if I just travel, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go right to this hovel. Nah, but I want to experience that. I want to experience that just like a night. Why not? Maybe 2 nights if I'm trying to. I might just be a little bit adventurous and say, okay, a couple nights. Let me see how it is. As long as the mosquitoes ain't gonna tear my hind parts to pieces, I'm good money. Yeah, I'm good. And then I'll go to the more luxurious spots. I'll go to the Western type of Holiday Inn or whatever. I'll go do that after that. Hey, you got to stay humble. Now, speaking about being humble, you have very low housing prices in Japan where you have a lot of the population declining because they're trying to get you to move out there. Everybody's in Tokyo, but what about the countryside? It's largely being abandoned because you have a low birth rate in the country. Same kind of way they have in it in South Korea, China, etc. So this 10-bedroom home, $55,000.
Just 2 doors
in Japan.
Just 2 doors down is a house for sale that is extremely beautiful and pretty much renovated on the inside and ready to move in. Unlike my home, where I have to do a little bit of renovation, but my home is significantly cheaper. And look at how beautiful this is. 2-car garage. You can fit 1 car in the middle and 1 car in there. In Japan, you cannot buy a car unless you have a parking space. So this would allow you to buy 1, 2, 3, 4 cars. And look at that. I'm going to convert this price to USD right here. Sorry.
Yeah, 10 beds, 1 bath is crazy. 10 beds, 1 bath will be unhinged.
This guy to USD. So you can see that. Look at that. It's a 9-bedroom home.
All right, so there you go. They ain't gonna show the inside, I don't think. 55,000. You in? Now I don't know where it is. It could be far away from civilization, as you probably would want it. Like, you probably want to be close to Tokyo or something like this. But what do y'all think? 55 bands? I mean, hey, if it has my amenities that I need close by, and I wanted to live out there, and I knew Japanese especially, let's run it up. Let's run it up. Now, this guy lives in Tokyo. And you're going to see the contrast between what we just saw and this. This guy rents like a really nice place in Tokyo. How much do you think he pays for rent for this very, very, very nice place in Tokyo? You see the car behind him. That's probably his car. So what do you think this guy, a white guy, what is he going to pay for rent in Tokyo, Japan?
How much do you pay for rent in Tokyo?
Around like 13,000 US dollar.
Can I have a
$13,000? 13,000, bro. I don't know what kind of industry you're in, but put me on. 13 bands a month for rent. My goodness. Hold on, is that rent or is that are you buying it?
Rent in Tokyo.
Just rent, 13 bands.
Around like 13,000 US dollar.
Can I have a tour of your apartment?
These are like shoes for the visitors.
So you're telling me if there's a guest, they get to wear the Gucci shoes?
Of course.
I'll go with this. Oh my God. Let me tell you something. I've toured a lot of homes. I've never seen a living room like this. How big is this place, by the way?
180 to 200 square meter.
It's not every day you get to try a swing like this inside the living room.
Bro,
it's your daughter's
the furnishings, I'm not a fan of.
Right?
Officially for the daughter, but of course, unofficially for me.
Yeah. I love how you're wearing a suit. Just trying to fit in there. This is your daughter?
Exactly, yeah. She's already a small piano player herself.
Super cute. This is a massive bed. How tall are you?
190.
190 centimeters. And look how big the bed is. You feel like a king there?
Of course I do.
This whole closet is your wife. That's your little corner.
Bathroom. It looks like a kid's playground by now. Even in the bath time, she got to learn like the ABC. We have a kitchen down here, but
it's too much.
But it's like only a smaller one.
So what you're telling me is you have 2 kitchens.
Yeah.
Nice sink, counter space, and then 3 burners over there with an oven and a grill. Now, if you're telling me this is small,
I'm kind of getting a little bit triggered because you got this $13,000 a month apartment, and you pretty much it's like a college dorm or something. You got stuff all on the counters, but you got cabinets. What's in the cabinets? You can't put it in the cabinets.
I'm very excited to see the other kitchen you have upstairs.
You think it's fake? It might be fake.
This is like the party space. It's mostly like my wife who does like interior stuff.
You got a jacuzzi over there. What? These are all real plants, right?
Yeah.
Just check. This is for the guests. Yeah, very soft.
It's a big apartment, but only has 2 bedrooms.
To afford a place like this is very expensive, right? What do you do for work?
I'm doing real estate investments. I'm helping people invest in real estate and invest myself.
What has been the hardest time in your life in Japan?
I mean, I've had bad relationships. Man, you go through a few really bad ones, but then you find the right one. Have a great.
All right, there we go. That's enough of that. So yeah, that was disappointing a little bit. I thought it was gonna be better than that. Bro, you spending that much money and your wife does the furnishings. Hey man, tell her to go back to school and get retrained because that ain't it, man. You got a daycare in that joint, man. You have a daycare in there for her home. You can have your space for your daughter, but it can't just encapsulate the entire thing. A swing inside your house, put that outside. Now we're going back to the States. This guy is inspecting a home that costs $380. Now look. The homes in my neighborhood are a little bit more than that, but kind of in the same ballpark. And I've heard some horror stories about some of the small things that you see in the home when you inspect it. And it's just like, man, I pay so much money. Why am I seeing these mistakes? But let's watch. Again, you see the price right there, $380, and the guy's going to inspect it.
Man, these folks that had me thinking I'm tripping or something. So I come up in here, okay, let me turn the light on. I don't see no light switch here. I don't see no light switch here. I said, maybe they're weird. If they put it on the outside, there's no light switch there. And I was like, okay, even weirder. Could it be in the closet? No, there ain't no light switch there. So I'm like, how the frick do you turn on the light up in here? And then, my boy, it ain't no light in here. And then it's hot in here because there ain't no supply register in here supplying no air.
So no light, no air ventilation. Is there a sink in there? No, it's not. It's just a toilet. And that's it. A toilet with no light, no air, no nothing.
And then it's hot in here because there ain't no supply register in here supplying no air. So whenever you use the bathroom in here, it's going to be hot, funky, and dark. This is left exposed. Damages at the garage floor. Unsealed. Not retracting.
ABL, we need the migrants to do the labor. Who's who built the houses? And the house they build is right here. The house they built is right here.
See this? And see this. Missing window screen. This looks like water damage. This whole door frame is out of square. You can see as it transitions up. It's been set at 65 degrees since I got here, and it's 85 degrees in this house. This is unsealed, and this is unsealed.
Hey, somebody said a quarter bath. That's hilarious. Not a half bath, a quarter bath.
Washer is leaking. Gaps at the flooring.
All right, so there we go. Yeah, you're going to see stuff like that in these houses that cost right around that much because of the quality of construction. Again, that's the migrant labor right there. That's what they're going to do. We need the migrants. Hey, man, they're going to do whatever. I've seen people do like renos, and they cut out like a piece of their wall, and they go inside the wall, and guess what they find? Hey, guess what they find in the wall when they open it up to do some reno? They find a water bottle, but it ain't no water in it, but it's something else in it, and you already know what it is, so I ain't going to say no more, so I digress. Let's keep on rocking here. I got a couple more I want to show. Then I'm going to get to some calls. Alrighty. Matter of fact, I got one more I want to show. This is a tiny home for $99,000. Okay, $99,000. Would you guys live here? I don't know. We gotta see inside. That driveway looks crazy. If you have a car right there, it's gonna block the entire house. But let's see what's going on.
Alrighty, guys, listen up. For all the shit that y'all talk about these homes right here, they sure do sell fast. Being priced at just under $100,000 with a mortgage payment of $630-something, with only 300 and something square feet, I think that this is a really good investment for one of you out there. This video is already basically over. But look, as long as you got a roof over your head, somewhere to hang your clothes, somewhere to sleep, and somewhere to wash your ass, this is the perfect investment.
Well, at least they got a full bath in there. At least they got, okay, a shower, toilet, sink, and some ventilation at the top.
This is the perfect investment. Upstairs, guys, you're gonna have this kind of like loft area.
Oh no, not the water heater upstairs. That's crazy. Why would that be upstairs like that?
Second bedroom.
You see it.
And of course, you're gonna get a tiny backyard, guys. This is a tiny home, but hey, at least you got a spot to chill. Don't mind the weeds. If it bothers you, I'll come pull them out myself. All right, guys, so this is the last tiny home here in this community. And just keep in mind that a lot of people cannot afford over $1,000, over $1,500, over whatever a certain amount is, right? So you got to be grateful for what you can get. This is available now, guys. The last one here, like I mentioned before. So if you're interested, feel free to reach out to me and let's see if we can get it for you.
So again, let's go back. So $99,900. Would you live there? I don't know where this is in the country. That's another part, because it could be bad neighborhood, good neighborhood. I don't know. But if you're living in a place where the houses cost that much, it ain't necessarily going to be, it may not be the best of neighbors. But I don't know. I mean, it's all right. Like if I was real young, yeah, if I'm like in my early 20s, yes, I would. Absolutely. But I don't know about the resale value of that. My only thing is having the hot water heater upstairs in that loft. That doesn't make any sense. Just put it in the backyard. Put it right behind the house. Put it like, hold on. Put it right. Okay, can I move? Yeah, put it right there where you're standing. Put a little shed right there, a little structure, and put the water heater right there. Why would you put it upstairs? It's weird. But yeah, $99,900. Location. That's right, NDRN. Location. Okay, hold on. Sarah B says, I like it. It's new. It's clean. It's simple. Hey, I'm with it. I am with it. Because if you're going to get some of these houses that the quality is kind of a little janky, you might as well get something that's not that expensive and small. And they're going to sell. People want those houses. They want an apartment type of thing, but they don't want to live in an apartment building. So that could be a solution for them. Okay. So this guy has a coffee truck. I'm going to show this, and then I'm done. And then I'm going to get to the calls. This guy has a coffee truck. And we're going to see how much he makes in sales. And the reason why I'm showing this is because people are asking about certain ideas, business ideas. This could be one. A coffee truck. Not a food truck, but a coffee truck. Hey, you know what? Now that I'm seeing, I might do it my own self. I might just bring my truck out there in the morning for an hour. Hey, I might bring my F-150 out on the road for an hour in the morning and just sell coffee. Because y'all in the morning, I'm out in the morning and I see y'all at these coffee shops. Oh my goodness. And they cannot stop building the coffee shops. In my community's Facebook group, whenever there's a new coffee shop that opens, they posting it. Hey, we got a new shop. Here it is. Starbucks in the morning. Look, where I live at, you got a Starbucks on one side of the street and the other, and they both packed. Then they build a Dos Bros. They building all kind of stuff. What's the other one? Dos Bros, Baxter's or whatever that is. They keep building them and they stay packed. But anyway, a coffee truck. What are they making sales?
Daily sales, $750 to $1,500. We range from like 80 to 120 drinks, depending on the day. We put $250,000 into this. The truck itself was like 95,000. You know, they built out the truck brand new, and everything that's built into the truck is completely brand new. This is a cafe on wheels. Well, every location's different. I've made $1,500 at all 3 locations in a given day, which is great. Like here, we're 7 to 1, and then I've done it from 9 to 4 in Venice, and then I've also done it USC 7 to 2:30. I have a rent at the commissary. It's $1,000.
Is this where it goes overnight?
Overnight.
Like, do you take it home?
You can't.
You can't?
No, you're not allowed
That's
to.
so weird.
You have to park at one of these things. Bookkeeper, rent, then our fixed like cost of goods maybe, I think is about $4,000. I think all in we're about 300. Going all in and taking that money I raised and we put it in here to make what I think is the #1 coffee truck in the country. And I'm not just saying that because I don't even know what else you could do in here. Our daily sales.
So there we go. So daily sales between 800 and 1,500 per day. Per day, you pretty much printing money when you're selling this coffee to people. I mean, I'm not a coffee guy, so I don't really get it. I don't really understand it. I never really did understand it. But shout out to you guys who entered the coffee. You know, shout out to you. More power to you. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. So I am going to California pretty soon. I'm going to LA pretty soon. So where should I go? Where should I avoid? I know to avoid downtown. I ain't going down there. I've seen enough videos about what's happening down there, but where should I go? Again, I am going to LA pretty soon, and y'all will see what I got coming out soon enough. Whenever they let it out, whenever they give me the green light to post it, I'll post it, and y'all will see it. All right. But let's get to some super chats, and we're going to get to the calls. The number to call, 706-406-3287. Again, 706-406-3287. Let me get super chats first, and then we get to the calls. Okay, I'm reading some of your comments about where to go in LA, so I'll keep it coming. Okay. Kaya says, hey, I would avoid Los Angeles right now. Oh, there was some breaking news that I wanted to show. Okay. They deployed National Guard. They deployed 2,000 National Guard. Yeah. Let me put it on the screen right quick for you guys. So shout out to my LA people. Y'all please stay safe. All righty. They have deployed National Guard. Let me put it on the screen right quick. This is breaking as of 9:38 p.m. So about an hour ago. You see what it says right here. Trump deploys 2,000 National Guard members after Los Angeles immigration protests. ICE vowed to continue making arrests and enforce immigration laws. All righty. So we got 2,000. Hold on. President Trump signed a memorandum deploying 2,000 National Guardsmen to address the lawlessness in California as demonstrations opposing immigration and customs enforcement, ICE, operations continue in the state. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said in a statement on Saturday. Righty, and it says Gavin Newsom said the federal government was moving to take over the California National Guard, calling the move purposefully inflammatory and saying it will only escalate tensions. All right, so of course, Lord Gavin is against it. What do y'all think? Was it the right move to call the National Guard to go to Los Angeles because of how out of control it is, or was it a bad thing? Y'all let me know. All right, I'm gonna go back to reading your comments. I guess I should avoid that area wherever they at. Yeah, I'm gonna avoid that area. Thank you, Ball Tire. I appreciate it. Go to Napa. Napa, is that LA or is that like somewhere else? That's like, yeah, I'm gonna be in Los Angeles. That's way up in, you know what I mean? Somewhere else. Hold on. Let me see. Tenderloin, that's San Francisco. Not going up there. And I'm not going to that particular crack neighborhood. Let me see. Venice Beach and Santa Monica Pier. Is Venice Beach cool? Because I've been hearing about Venice. Like, it still got some, you got some dope fiend activity out Venice. Okay. Let me see. Why am I going to Marxist Cali? Hey, you know, I gotta go out there sometimes for y'all. That's the only reason why I'm doing it, because I'm doing some filming out there. That's the only reason why I'm going. I'm doing it for y'all. Coming to Utah, hey, I might have to do that. Stay in West LA or Sherman Oaks. Okay, let me see. Am I going to the hot seat? That'd be nice, but I don't know anything about how to get on that. I can't say, so don't ask me no questions about where I'm going, but I'm not going there. Okay, let me see. I'm reading some Disneyland. All right. Hold on. I read something I wanted to answer. Something about a MAGA person. Hold on. Am I a MAGA? Is that what I am? Am I a MAGA? I didn't know I was a MAGA. I didn't know I had a card that said I'm a MAGA. Say out of the entire U.S. West Coast, there's a major earthquake coming. Is it? Is it? Okay. We're going to see. The beach, Huntington preferably. Santa Monica is good. El Segundo. Don't go to LA, go to South Lake Tahoe. All right. I'll read some more of these, but I'm going to get super chats, and then I'm going to get to the calls in a minute. Thank you to Kash Patel, who says, may God bless our law enforcement officers and guardsmen during this time. Right on. Thank you to Pete Sangria, who says, if you're not prepared to use force to defend civilization, then be prepared to accept barbarianism or barbarism. Thank you for that, Pete Sangria. Thank you to Ron Henderson, who says, most liberals have TDS. We can't help them. Let me see. Thank you to F Ranger Xbox, who says, abortion is the first step to legalize farm harvesting to humans. Thank you to Kiwan Lynette, who says, words matter should be your next merch line. Absolutely. Thank you to Kiwan, who says, congratulations, ABL, on your California opportunity. Thank you for that. Thank you to Black Lake, who says, so are we going to start milking bulls? Yeah, I think not. Thank you to Llewellyn Moss, who says, if she can't get her gut butt in the overhead compartment, then I'm not checking my bag either, sir. Thank you to Ron Henderson, who says, is it a crime to come to the... He says, it is a crime to come to the country illegally. It is a crime. The problem is we don't want to recognize it. That's right. Ron Henderson also says, make Americans accountable again. Do the crime. Do the time. 100%. All righty. And let me see. Thank you to TNSN5 for the thumbs up emoji. Thank you to Janine Jones, who says 2000 National Guard. I got that one. Thank you for that. Thank you to Apple Blocker Puff Daddy, who says, ABL, you're street smart. Can Musk and Trump alliance be saved? Well, I don't know. It might not need to be. I think maybe Elon Musk has served his time and it's time to move on. So I don't really think that it needs to be saved. He's not in government anymore. He's not in that role anymore. Go back to doing what you do. And if he can just do what he does and they remain cordial that way with having a little bit of space in between them, then it's fine. If Elon Musk cannot operate without that space being closed, without being in Trump's skin, basically like an old girlfriend, if he can't operate with a certain level of maturity, then it's not going to work. If he's able to be away from Trump and be cordial, then it can work. If not, then it's not. At the end of the day, it's all on Elon, in my humble opinion, because this is all one-sided, really, from Elon to Trump. Thank you to the White Man for gifting 5 ABL memberships. I appreciate you for that, boss. I appreciate it for... All right, dudes, don't be spamming me now, dudes. I see you in the chat. Would I stay in a cheap Airbnb hut in Africa? I mean, an Airbnb hut, is that a thing that even exists? But if you're trying to ask me, would I stay in a cheap place, like I said, in Thailand and Africa? Yes, of course. Why not? As long as I ain't gonna get ate up by no bugs, ain't gonna be no hippo charging my area at night, I'm good money. Yeah, and I would go to like East Africa somewhere, like Uganda. Yeah, Uganda would be nice. Go to Entebbe, I like that. Or out kind of in the bush. I would do that. I would stay in Entebbe for, kind of like a more Western feel, kind of a little bit, but then go out in the surrounding areas to live a little bit more humble. I would do that. Same kind of way in Thailand. Like, okay, you have your urban areas where it's more Western a little bit, but then you have the outskirts. I would stay there and try to tough it out for a night or two and see how I can do. Yes, I would like to do that. All right, I gotta go Hollywood Boulevard. Now, is that where you got the Walk of Fame? Is that where that is? I'm not a West Coast guy. Pardon my ignorance. All righty, but let's get to some calls. The number to call again, 706-406-3287. 706-406-3287. Let's get rocking and rolling. And let me get this on and let's start. All right, we are on 706-406-3287. And I see a few of y'all been calling already. Let's go to 951. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, ABL. My name is Alex. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing well, man. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing real well as well. So I was just listening to the broadcast tonight, and there's something that really I wanted to bring up is like in terms of the Epstein with Kash Patel going on Joe Rogan. I'm thinking like about those Pam Bondi folders. You remember those Pam Bondi folders that she passed out?
Yes.
So, like, what were those all about then?
Now, I don't really remember what she said they were. Like, what did she say that they were?
She said they were the files initially. I remember when Pam Bondi was coming online, she was talking about she was going to release everything day one, and everyone had their hopes up for that, and we were waiting for Pam Bondi, and we didn't get anything right away, and then they kind of like softball released these folders out to like podcasters that I'm not aware of. I don't know any of their names. Do you remember all that?
I remember some folders, but I don't really know what she was saying that they were. It was something, but I don't recall the whole situation. Now, to answer your question about what was it, probably nothing, because if it was something, then we would have known, because they got the folders and they could read it. Right. And if it was anything in there that was worth mentioning, they would have said it.
Yeah, exactly. So my thought is like, what was the reason for the whole thing? You know, like, why did they do that? And what was that? What was that all about? You know, that's something that I'm kind of stuck on myself. A lot of things get memory hold because, like, the news is so fast these days. And, like, there's always something new to talk about. But, like, if you think about what happened, you know, just a couple of months ago, then there's, like, these extra things that we just forget about that kind of slip on by. And that's one of them for me. Another thing that I wanted to bring up, because I know we're not going to find any, like, answers on the Pam Bondi folders. But, like, you were talking about strong people in the Republican Party, and I just wanted to bring up somebody that you didn't mention, Stephen Miller, I think is his name. Is that correct, Stephen Miller, the guy that's I'm seeing on the news, a real skinny kind of white gentleman? Is that right?
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, I've not heard of him before this administration, but everything I'm seeing from him now, I'm like, hey, yeah, I'm a fan. I like Stephen Miller. I don't know what his strengths are in terms of like politics and where he might go in the future. But you know, if I saw him taking another role, I'd be you know, supportive of Stephen Miller for sure. What do you think about Stephen Miller?
To do what?
Anything, just anything after this administration. I mean, I also like Vance and I like Vivek Ramaswamy. I think those are two, you know, the two main guys. But if they were going to bring anybody, Dan Bongino is somebody that I liked before, but now with this Epstein stuff and as well as Kash Patel, it's like, I don't know what to make of it. But Stephen Miller is somebody that I really like everything I'm seeing from Stephen Miller.
For president?
Maybe. I mean, maybe someday. I don't know how young he is. I think he's a couple years older than me. I'm 40, so. But maybe someday, Stephen Miller. I like the guy. And then on Elon and Trump, the spat that was going on the last day or two. You know, something that I suspect is that, you know, a lot of us guys or people, individual people, when we end up in like kind of a high echelon or like outside of the normal kind of tier. Maybe whether that's financially or through fame or through our communities, it's kind of hard sometimes to know who our real friends are. And I just think about Elon and like the relationships or maybe like pseudo relationships with baby mamas. And I see Elon as somebody that like really could use a good friend, somebody that he could genuinely trust. And that's hard to find when you're the richest man on earth. Because I mean, who's not got something to gain by your friendship? And then when Donald Trump and he were kind of bonding a little bit, it's like, you know, maybe there was a genuine friendship that was growing in Elon's heart. And so, you know, I see his lashing out on Twitter and I see a lot of emotion behind that. And so I just think like, I wonder who Elon's best friend is in the world. And if he has one, and if he doesn't, you know, maybe he could use one, you know?
Yeah, but you know, Elon's going to be a whole different kind of guy because of his intellect and the things that he can do. He's in a whole different stratosphere. So to try to just have like a regular friend in that space is,
it's like, who could it be? Nobody, really. Who could be his friend?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And that's lonely, you know, that's got to be a lonely place to be. So anyways, that was kind of the last of everything I just had. You know, I had a few bullet points. I was taking notes while I was listening to you. I always appreciate listening to you, man. So thank you for taking the time and listening to me for a change. I appreciate it, man.
Thanks for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
All right. Have a great night.
All right. Shout out to the call. Let's keep rocking and rolling here. Let's go to 215 on the line. We're speaking to.
Hi, ABL. How's it going? Sorry, let me turn the background off.
All right, man.
Can you hear me?
I hear you well, man. What's going on?
Yeah, so I basically wanted to say, so when Trump and Elon Musk just got into it, it was like, it was just a bombshell. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you good. Go ahead.
Yeah, when Trump and Elon got into it, all of a sudden it was just pretty much like a bombshell. It just happened out of nowhere. And with Elon Musk, like a lot of people say he's acting like the bitter wife that got divorced. And my thing is, I feel like it's more of a distraction to try to hide what's really going on. I've heard a few people say that, but honestly, I want to ask, because I'm just now tuning into the show tonight. What's your thoughts on it?
On what, Elon and Trump, just the whole situation?
Yeah.
I think Elon, like I was saying in my video, I think Elon got emotional and did not understand how they control his emotions because him and Trump then broke up. That's kind of what's going on. It's like a jilted ex, like an old girlfriend. You break up with her and then she want to just start tripping. That's what happened, in my humble opinion. He was just reacting emotionally, which is why he's now deleting tweets he put out because they were made in an emotional state when he was not behaving in his right mind. That's all that this was.
Yeah, it kind of seemed like that as well, because when he started bringing up the Epstein files, saying Trump is on the Epstein files with no actual evidence, now it's trying to start a whole bunch of rumors on the internet, and my reaction is, I was like, oh, wow, sounds like he is upset that, and a lot of, I've also been hearing ABL, a lot of people saying that Elon didn't like the fact that Trump, what did he did with Tesla? Like, he got rid of the EV mandate. That's right. Got rid of the EV mandate. But like everyone said, it's not like Elon didn't know that was coming.
Yeah, maybe he was told that it was coming and he would go on TV and say that it's okay. But then when it actually happened, he had a reaction on top of not being in the White House anymore. That's the main thing. Since Trump cut him off, now he wants to react because he cannot handle the emotion of not being next to Trump anymore. That's all. Yeah,
and honestly, I want to see if this might play out, because honestly, I give it this is not probably going to last either 2 weeks. It's going to die off. The story's going to die off. People are going to move on to something else because, the cycle that we live in, the news moves so fast. And one more thing I'm going to say is, so first Elon felt betrayed by the Democrats, by Joe Biden. And I wonder if he feels betrayed by Republicans at this point. I don't even think it's just Republicans. I think it's just Trump he has an issue with.
It's Trump. That's all, because he cannot be his bestie anymore. That's all. It's not really that complicated, in my opinion.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, honestly, yeah, that's definitely right. On point. Well, thank you for taking my call tonight, ABL.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
You have a good night.
Same to you now. All right, shout out to the caller. But yeah, Elon just mad because he can't be Trump bestie. Can't be in his skin no more. That's all. It ain't because before he left the White House, everything was all good. It wasn't no problems. And Trump even said it. He was like, well, Elon knew what was in the bill. It's not any surprises. Now he wants to be surprised. So what's really the problem? What's really going on? He could tell you one thing, but it's probably something else. I'm speaking to 757. You're on the line?
Yeah, Mr. Logan, Chesapeake Bob. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, man. How about yourself?
Oh, I've been okay. Been actually working outside for the last 7 days, building a deck and a podium for a retired cop over in my neighborhood who doesn't know the business end of a hammer, but it's a great guy. Anyhow, what I wanted to talk about was I did catch something. I'm not sure where I saw it at, but you can look it up. And this is talking about Jeffrey Epstein, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I got you on mute, so I don't know if anybody's covered this before. But what they said, what Kash Patel said in that whole interview, was there were cameras in the hallway, there were cameras at the door, and there was a camera that showed his cell. the only camera that was out during that time frame was the one in the cell. So what he was saying was basically, we saw the other cameras, and nobody came in and out of that hallway, and nobody came in and out of that area. It was just him in there alone. So that's how he came to the conclusion that Epstein offed himself.
Okay, but see, here's the problem. If there's no camera in the cell, then how do you know someone didn't get in the cell without going by the cameras?
He brought that up too. He says the only people that went in the cell was the paramedics or the person that found him dead, whoever that was. And he said maybe the paramedics killed him, maybe not. He said, but at this point in time, you know, the cameras are not showing anybody going in and out of that door other than the person that found him dead. I don't know who that was. But he did cover all that. And that's why he came out and he said sort of conclusively Epstein offed himself.
Okay.
So I just didn't know if you'd seen that. I don't even know how I caught it. I caught a little bit of it. You know, after I was coming back in here trying to cool down because it's hot. But so I just wanted to bring that out. There were other cameras that were covering the hallway, covering that area, just not the one in the cell. That was the one that was out.
Gotcha.
All right, sir. Well, I hope you have a good night, and I'll watch the rest of your show.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, bye.
All right, so there we go. Now, like when I was saying about the whole thing about, okay, if no cameras caught anybody, then maybe somebody came in beyond the camera's scope, trap door up underneath the cell. I don't know. El Chapo status. Who knows? You never know what's going on with these people. You never know. Let's go 559 online. Who am I speaking to?
ABL, Patrick from California. How's it going?
I'm doing well, man. How about yourself?
Hey, good, man. You know, these illegal alien protesters and rioters in the streets of Los Angeles, New York, and Minneapolis, I mean, should we call them protesters or should we call them revolutionaries and invaders? Because we always see is them carrying the Mexican flag, the Colombian flag, Nicaraguan flag, all their countries of origins flags that they say that they are escaping tyranny from, but yet they're here burning vehicles in the street, trash cans, rioting, assaulting our officers, and writing kill cops on the sides of federal buildings. Should we address these people as revolutionaries?
You raise a good point, because to call them protesters is not really getting the full scope of what's happening.
Yeah, you know, in my mind, these are militants in a way, because they are taking their so-called protected rights that they believe that they have, which they really don't, as refugees, and now they're going beyond something that then puts them in a predicament of what everybody on the right has been saying. Well, these are actually people that have been let out of prisons. These are criminals. These are Trinidad MS-13 gang members that have infiltrated our country, not come over here seeking peace, asylum, work, and relief from the countries in which they have come from. Do you think this Abrego Garcia is the less new George Floyd?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I don't want to make a direct comparison, even though George Floyd was going to be overdosing off fentanyl anyway, despite his arrest and whatever people want to make of it. I feel like the best thing that could have happened was Trump slapping charges on him before that he even hit ground here in the United States, because I feel like the left was probably going to set him up and do something to him to make it look like it was going to be some sort of a right-wing, organization or some sort of a ultra-right, far-right, if you will, group that was going to set it all up and make it look like that we were going to do something to him or have something done to him, for lack of a better words. I just didn't have a good feeling about it. And for somebody who trafficked, I think it was over 100 of individuals during his time here, I'm glad that they're prosecuting him to the full extent of the law, because people like that, they don't deserve, whether in this country or back in Venezuela, 1 minute of freedom out into the free world to affect people. And anyway, ABL, I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much, sir, for your call. I mean, for my call. I'm backwards for allowing me to speak to you during this call. And God bless you, sir, and God bless the United States of America. Take care.
Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate it. All right, shout out to the caller. Great call. Let's keep rocking and rolling here. Let's go to 860. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Anthony, it's FNA Ranger Xbox.
All right, man. What's going on?
Hey, brother, how you doing? First of all, let's clear the air on this Mar-a-Lago and that Epstein pedophile, okay? Let's clear this air real quick. Now, if you look at the map of Florida, you see West Palm Beach, right? Right there on East Coast Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Then you see Jupiter. Just above Jupiter, Stewart, Florida. I worked at Stewart, Florida. That's Witham Airfield, Stewart, Florida. I worked at Witham Aircraft Services. That's where all the members of West Palm Beach Country Club park their private jets because they're too cheap to pay the ramp fees every year down there in West Palm Beach. Now, Trump's Mar-a-Lago, he parks his plane down in West Palm Beach because Trump's billionaire. He's got big bucks. But other guys like the owner of General Tires and people like that, they parked up in Stewart, Florida. So consequently, guess who hears all the bullshit that's going on in the elite's world and could care less? You know?
Right on.
The lampshades, you know, the butlers, the mechanics, the guy, you know, these guys have private jets like you go get on the city bus, okay? That's what it's like to them. They go out there and there it is, you know, right on time, 7:15, just like it's supposed to be. Except for they own everything, you know, and the executive part is you mind your own business. You don't say a damn word about what's going on or nothing. Just pay attention to what you're doing. You are an accessory. That's it. That's all you got to remember. Now, about Trump and Epstein. Epstein was a drunken fool. He was in the middle of sexually assaulting the 15-year-old daughter of a member of Mar-a-Lago. And Trump personally, in the presence of the West Palm Bay Sheriff's Department and the police department, trespassed Epstein off of Mar-a-Lago. And that one little photograph you'll see come up with Trump and Epstein with them little cuties and them little squint nylon or silky shorty shorts, they're not little girls. Those are NFL cheerleaders. Those are adult women. And Trump was single at the time. And come on, this is Donald Trump. I'm 5'6". Even I look bigger when I stand on my wallet, and I'll leave you with that, Anthony. You have a great day. Trump's a pretty decent guy. That's all I got to say. Y'all have a good night. Bye.
All right. You just in and out, thief in the night. Is like, all right. Shout out to him for the call. It was a good call. But the number to call, what's the number to call? 706-406-3338. 706-406-3287. Did I get it right? Yeah, there we go. Let's go. 925, hit online. Who am I speaking to? 925, hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Oh, hi. Sorry about that. Yeah. Hi, this is Heather. I'm calling from Houston.
Okay,
Texas, actually, Sugarland.
Before we start, turn our stream off in the background, please.
Okay.
All righty. So what's going on?
Hi, this is Heather. I'm calling from Sugarland, Texas. It's Houston, Texas, actually. And I know that you're probably sick of talking about Elon and Trump, but I'm going to make it short. I think he has daddy issues.
Who, Elon?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that he looked at Trump kind of like a father figure. And he, lost trust because, Trump didn't do the way that he wanted him to do. So I just think that it has to do with just getting his feelings hurt and losing trust.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. The feelings got hurt, and then he just lashed out.
Yeah. So that's all I have to say. I don't like talking on there on the channel. So
Thank you for your call. I definitely appreciate you.
thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Great call. Let's go to 843. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, Anthony. This is Tyler. Hey, buddy.
Hey, man. What's going on?
Oh, you see it. Hey, I was wanting your opinion. Maybe, do you think it's kind of clear that Gavin Newsom is taking control silently, kind of, the Democratic Party? He's the clear leader.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. I don't think that anybody's even close. There's nobody that's even close to Gavin. And I've been saying that for years. And I'm like, well, he could just run for president right now because ain't nobody else better than him. I wouldn't vote for the guy. But as far as if I put myself in their shoes as Democrats, he's the best out of their bunch.
Yeah, at this point, because even fresh off their little bootleg rock star tour, Bernie and AOC, they've been silent. And Ratchet Crotchet, she's been silent for like 2-3 weeks. You know what I mean? It seems like her bubble's kind of been busted. So, but I figured that might have been what you had cooking going out to Cali, bro.
Oh, nah. I mean, hey, you know, it might happen because, you know, if I'm out there and that presents itself to be able to go talk to them, then yeah, I would. But that's not really why I'm going.
Yeah, I'm messing, but yeah, I thought maybe you was going out to cut the head off that snake before it slithers and bites us. But no, I was going to encourage you, ABL, go out there and have a ball. I was just out there again. I've been out there several times, man. I love LA. Go to Venice, go to Marina Del Rey, all that, Manhattan Beach. Like it's all nice up through there. It's got its spots, but even go up into Hollywood Hills, get up there on Mulholland Drive, and you'll have a blast, man. You'll see why them weirdos live out there, but you have a good weekend, and man, we enjoy your show, but bring it back home if you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
Carry that conservative message with you, but be safe.
Right on, man. Will do. Thank you for your call.
All right, Anthony. You take care, bro.
All right now.
All right now.
Yeah, shout out to Tyler for the call. Yeah, I know people love California. They love it. People that's from out there, they want to stay out there. Yeah. So I get it. But the other stuff that they got going on, it's just like it's too many cons and too few pros in my humble opinion. Let's go. They're on call speaker 2310.
Hey, good day, ABL. This is Ron from Georgia. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. About yourself?
Another big week. Man, oh, man. I can't believe, what's going on with Elon and our prayers and everything. But it all come out in the mix. You know, it's just like what everybody's saying. I think either Elon got daddy issues or, like you said, scorn lover. You know what I'm saying? He loved being in the White House, and now that his term is up, you know, is going back to plain old Elon. But, you know, it all work out. It all work out. You know, I try to keep myself focused on the big picture. And the president is making things still happen, you know. But when they're looking at where the ICE agents are on the move doing the roundups and everything like that, and then you got the miscreants who don't want the roundups, hey, you know, I'm sorry. It's time for America to change. I'm glad I left California, you know, and where all that stuff's happening. Hey, I know exactly where that is. And these people right now is nothing like when I left, 10 years ago. It's nothing like when I left. The people now, like I said, the mayor, the governor, they don't give a darn about the state. Or the city. They let me run down. They don't know what's going on. They don't give the police the fortitude to go forth, you know, and arrest these people and combat them. It was good that they was shooting the pepper spray and everything like that. The people got a little dose of pain, irritants, and everything like that to back them back down. But more need to happen. More need to happen in order to bring back law and order. And that's the thing. We have these laws on the books, but they don't have the will to apply them. You know, that if we applied the laws and give people the sentences of what they need, I'm telling you, all this stuff will stop. The fact of the matter, when we let them get loose, when the prosecutors don't want to prosecute, when the judge don't want to say it, give them this sentence and everything like that, it makes a laughing stock out of the real citizens. And yet, citizens like yourself and I, or any other law-abiding citizen, if we did anything, we get tossed up under the jail, you know, straight up. But the lawbreakers, the ones that does it on the regular, they get let go to continue with this crazy mayhem. I'm sick of it myself personally, and you know, the more things I see where people are getting off and they get caught in things, and yet they get 6-year sentences. You know, they get 6-year sentences, and they go 45 days in, and 5 years, you know, probation. What kind of crap is that? That's why they keep doing what they're doing. We need to be, hey, you get up there, hey, I bring back the chain gang. We got plenty of, you know, we don't need street sweepers. We got people doing just like they used to do in the old cartoons with the mustache and brooms. Hey, sweeping down the street, you're going to be doing that. Got somebody up there with their shotgun, keep your butt in line. Hey, I don't have no problem with that. This is what we need, you know, to keep people's mind right, you know what I'm saying? And that's what need to happen. And, you know, we just need to just go back and get back our country the way it's supposed to be. I'm sorry, the illegals got to go. You hear, come correct. You can't come into my house without being invited. Hey, you can't come into my country unless you've been invited, unless you knock on the door and ask for permission, and we check you out. Because everybody don't come in our country with the right intentions. In fact, they come in the country just to get our money, get our benefits. I'm sorry. You want to protest, do all that stuff, do that in the country that you came from. You can make your own country great. Every country have the ability, if the people will rise up in their own country, to make their country great themselves. You don't have to leave there, take that mess over there, make your country better than what it is. Quit bringing our country down. Why should we submit to them? We shouldn't. We should not submit to them. They need to submit to our way. And as far as the judges and everything like that that's coming against our country, hey, they are coming against the social norms, what we should have. And unfortunately, you know, right now, it's I believe it's going to come around. People are going to see the positiveness as the jobs start coming in the markets and everything like that. Just like what Trump was saying. Said, you know what, we got jobs coming. People get back to working. Americans get back to working. Hey, and start providing for your families. If you quit going ahead and dating from woman to woman or man to man and everything, find yourself a good man, if there's any out there, any clean ones out there, because a lot of people being tainted and everything like that with all these STDs running around and everything, because everybody just passing around like they Cracker Jacks or something. But you know what? The thing about it is that find yourself somebody that you can really commit yourself to and live a life for. Live life for somebody. Live a life for your children. Live a life for your loved ones. Make America great. You know, we can do this. We can do this, man. Anyway, I just keep praying for you, brother. I keep praying for everybody, man. Let's continue to love our country. It's way out here, man. It's way out here. But you know what? God is able. God is able, my brother. Hey, God bless you, ABL, and God bless the chat and everybody. Keep America great. Hey, positive thoughts. We're going to get it done. God bless you, brother.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
You too, sir.
All righty. Shout out to you guys. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. If you like what you heard tonight, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Great calls. But that is a wrap for me. I'll be back live again. Am I live on Tuesday? Yeah, I'm live on Tuesday. Yep, on Tuesday on Instagram. I'm live Tuesday on Instagram. Wednesday, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what Wednesday, because I got my first, because I got 2 trips. I got one. I'm going to LA. That's not till later on in the month. My next one is next week. I'm going to DC. So I should be. I probably won't be available that Wednesday. But y'all will see. Once they announce it, what I got going on Wednesday. So Wednesday, I'll probably be out of town, but y'all will see it. Y'all will like it. And then I got the LA trip after that. So that's what I got going on. But I definitely will be live on Tuesday on Instagram. So if you're not on Instagram and you want to catch that, go ahead and download Instagram. Follow me, Anthony B. Logan. I'm easy to find. Y'all can find me anywhere. Search ABL on the interwebs. Search ABL on the Instagram, on the Facebook. I'm going to come up. And speaking about searching and not come up, this is also an audio streaming podcast you're listening to right now. It'll be available on your favorite audio streaming platforms, whether that be Apple iTunes, Spotify, etc. Link for that will be in the description, or just go to your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. Now, do I have super chats? I think I might have one more. And before I read that, shout out to you guys for watching, retweeting, super chatting, whatever you're doing. I could not do the show without you, so I appreciate y'all for that. And shout out to the mods for keeping the trolls in check. I appreciate y'all for that as well. Now, before I wrap it on up, put the bow on top. I got one super chat, and then that'll be that. And I'm gonna read some of your super chat. I'm gonna read some of your comments before I leave too. Thank you to Jazz Life, who says Brentwood, Marina Del Rey, Manhattan Beach, Woodland Hills, Santa Monica, Encino, Sherman Oaks, Studio City, Research, good looking women in LA too. Oh yeah. I know about the women out there. I know that. Hey, I definitely know that part. That's going to be the first thing I look for. But I'll definitely check those neighborhoods out. I've been hearing about, I heard about Marina Del Rey before. I heard about Manhattan Beach, Santa Monica. I heard about those. And I think I've heard Marina Del Rey quite a bit. So we'll see. Venice, I've heard about Venice Beach, but I've seen some of the dope fiends out there. We'll see. We shall see. Oh, thank you, Sheree. Almost forgot that I'm on Rumble. Yeah, see, look, she got Sheree. Look, Sheree done put the links for my Rumble page. If you guys want to follow me there, I have the content from YouTube over on the Rumbles. If you prefer that platform, I am on Rumble. And I also have the Uncle ABL channel where I talk about more relationships and life and food and stuff like that. Just more lifestyle things over on the Uncle ABL channel. I'll come at you more as the Unc, you know, more of the older type of guy giving you advice over on that channel. Alrighty. And all my links for all the channels, the podcast, everything will be in the box. And as soon as I can tell you what's going on Wednesday, I'll let you know. I'll probably make an announcement. I might do a short video and tell you what's happening on Wednesday. You guys will be able to see it then. So that's pretty much a wrap for me. I appreciate y'all as always. But until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.